What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome back to another installment of the Casually Chelsea Show. I am your host, Marshalldbdx, accompanied by Ahmed and Oliver, who are my panelists, and there'll be more coming soon, I'm sure. But ladies and gents, before we go ahead and start this jam-packed show for you, make sure you go down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're on our way to 3K, having a 2K celebration this Friday. Mark it down on your calendar, or hit the bell notification so you don't miss out when we do go live at any point, at any time on this lovely week. Make sure to also smash the like button, as it does help out the channel's growth and algorithm and engagement. Be sure to check out the links below to Ahmed's YouTube, my personal YouTube, Twitch, not Twitch, I'm sorry, Twitter, Sarcasm City, Discord, all the fun stuff, all my other links as well down below. And leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the show, your thoughts on anything that we discussed today. All the engagement does help out the channel. And feel free to check out our memberships. 4 different tiers starting at 99p, and at the lowest tier you get all the emojis that everyone in the membership area or that is a member is able to use. So guys, thank you so much. Big up to everyone already in the chat. You guys already know what to do, but let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Let's start off real. Chris, what are you doing here, bro? What are you doing here and not here? All right. Anyways, let's start off this show with this topic. Kylian Mbappe to Chelsea. We haven't talked about this yet, but this is going to be a quick segment. Okay. Chelsea have expressed interest in signing Kylian Mbappe, and they may be tempted to join the bidding. Yeah, sure. All right. Next tweet. Chelsea won't explore a deal for Kylian Mbappe any further. Yeah, I wonder why. Because what the Saudis bid, oh my God, I can't even remember the number. The number is unsurmountable. What is it, a 700 million euro contract or something like that for the year?
Yeah, just 1 year. But I can't remember what the fee was, but 700 million insane. Was the salary basically.
Yeah, no one is going to entertain this. Like, only Saudis can entertain this money. And it's convenient for Kylian because, there's no way he says no, right?
And he also gets to leave on a free. He gets to leave on a free the next year to go to Real Madrid.
This is what I'm saying. We had to bring it up just to, turn this shit down already. All right, we have to give people the truth.
Do you know what's crazy, bro?
That's crazy.
This guy just rejected today essentially a 1 billion deal. He rejected a 1 billion deal for 1 year just to play in the Saudi league, where he could then, just as he's doing right now, PSG, go to Real Madrid the next year and get a bonus. Of
Wait, he rejected the Saudi deal.
He rejected the Saudi deal. Got revealed
today.
Where'd you hear that? Okay, got revealed by Fabrizio at 7 p.m. today.
What the fuck? Hold on, I gotta pull this up. Breaking news.
Yeah, man, 3 hours ago, man.
News.
Literally 3 hours
ago. I just got home. This is news from yesterday.
Yeah, man.
No, it's not your bad. I'm glad you told me. Wait, let me look this up. Hold on. Fabrizio, tell me the truth, baby. Where you at? Oh, here. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is insane. What is wrong with you, Mbappe? What is wrong with you? It's 1 year. It's 1 year, and then you could do what you want. At least with PSG, you're going to be stuck at PSG. Okay, despite Al Hilal delegation flying to Paris, Kylian Mbappe has rejected to negotiate with Al Hilal. Mbappe has currently no intention of open talks despite a 200 million euro fixed salary proposal plus 100% image rights. PSG convinced that Mbappe agreed terms with Real Madrid. Bro, why? Why? Why would you do this? This is your way out of PSG.
I don't understand what's going on, because for me, I thought it was always the money thing for him when it came to staying another year at PSG, get all the money done.
He got like what, 50% of the club or some shit, pretty much.
He's got like a stake in the Qatari wealth fund, which is like a crazy amount. That's in trillions and stuff, which he already has. So, like, for me, I always assumed that's why he wanted to stay another year and then bag the 140 million bonus as well that he was going to be getting from Real Madrid as a signing on fee for being a free transfer as well. So it's kind of crazy the way he's moving, honestly.
Yeah, seriously. Like, you know what, Mbappe? This one's for you, bro. I don't usually play this much for Mbappe, but this is a howler. This is just a player being prideful at this point. Like, bro, it's only 1 year in Saudi, and then you do your 1 year. Everyone is happy in this situation. You do your 1 year, you become the richest player in the sport. Clearly, like, you become a billionaire, right? Like, he's gonna be a billionaire after this deal if he takes the Saudi deal. And then after that year's done, you go over to Real Madrid, no problem, on a free.
Honestly, for me, it baffles me beyond belief, bro. It's baffling beyond belief. You know, for me,
All
like
around,
I'm not even one of them ones which is like oh, it's gonna affect your legacy thing. It will not affect your legacy because
Not at all.
this is like generational wealth, bro. Doing this for 1 year just for getting generational wealth. No, I don't think anyone's gonna be hating on you, bro.
Like, how
Like
can you?
Messi wasn't getting this contract. Like if it being Messi and Ronaldo were not getting these contracts.
Like, Laurel, I
stage.
get where you're coming from, but I don't respect him. I think he's a fucking idiot now. Like, it's 1 year. You make like anyone who is anyone will look at you and not blame you at all for taking this deal. I think anyone who has their head screwed on correctly and isn't like an Mbappe hater, for example, will 100% understand why you would take that Saudi money. It's such a fortune. It's not even just for you. Like, your parents are probably telling you take it, man. Take it. Like, I understand you want to have like a good legacy and stuff. No one is going to blame you for taking this money. No one is going to think you're a horrible player for taking this money. Messi was offered this. Ronaldo was offered that, and he was the first to go to Saudi. I don't think anyone was talking ill will about Ronaldo for doing this. Maybe in the beginning, sure, but like now they're saying, oh well, he was a entrepreneur. He was a pioneer, I should say. He was one of the first to go.
Honestly, the thing for me though is also like
So
at the time of Messi and Ronaldo, they weren't getting these offers from Saudi clubs, Qatari clubs.
Yo, fly! It's not even millions, man.
Yeah.
It's billions.
Yes.
We're talking. He would be a first billionaire in football history.
He'd be getting $1 billion contract, bro. That's what
That's
he's getting
insane.
right now. He's basically getting $1 billion contract. People don't realize that, man. That's generational wealth, bro. He would literally be 3 million. You know the guy that's buying Man United.
Yeah. Sure.
What's his name? Jim Ratcliffe and him.
Sure,
the difference in like worth could only be like 3 billion right now if he got that $1 billion amount of money. So you could basically buy, United.
Yeah.
But, he like the 1 billion. One more thing, the 1 billion that he could possibly get. You know how much our club is worth? Our club is worth 4.25. That is almost like 25% of our whole club.
Mm-hmm. But I want people to understand in the chat, right? Him taking Saudi is his way of being able to transition easily to going to Real Madrid. Do you realize now that he's stayed at PSG, he is essentially going to hamper his career in a sense? Because I don't think PSG, I don't know what PSG are going to do, but they have threatened to cut his playing time at PSG if he doesn't re-sign a contract because you don't want to let him go on a free.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do you think that's going to do for a player? I'm not going to say Mbappe's going to be a shit player now. No, not at all. I think he's going to come back and be just fine, but it's going to, people are going to not want to bid as much, or I don't know. It's going to affect the player. This was his way of getting out of PSG easily and transitioning over to Saudi. Not Saudi, Real Madrid even easier. So he's ruined that for himself. Go ahead, Oliver, I'm sorry.
Yes, right. I'll just say this about it. I mean, everything you said there that PSG said they would do, they are just threats at the moment. And
true.
At the end of the day, it's the same situation, because even if whether Mbappe goes to Saudi Arabia or whether he stays at PSG, either way, his contract expires in 2024. So the pathway is still there to Madrid to leave on a free. It's just a matter of whether PSG actually have a backbone as a club and they'll live up to their threats. If they keep Mbappe because they can't get rid of him, do you think that the French media are going to be happy that their star boy is going to be sat on the bench? I don't think so. I think there's going to be massive pressure to play him if they've managed to keep him because of whatever circumstance. So I just,
you're funny.
It just depends. Like I said, do PSG have the backbone to put their money where their mouth is and actually freeze him out, or are they going to fall for media pressure and stuff like that and fan pressure?
Wait, what?
Listen, at the end of the day,
Can we swap Havertz and Gallagher, Marshall? You would love.
Listen, at the end of the day, man, with the Mbappe deal, bro. At the end of the day, bro, I don't know what's going on now. Is Real Madrid gonna bid good amount of money for him? I don't know.
They're not gonna bid. And
then the problem is for him, even if they don't bid, PSG is in a bit of a moral country because they need to sell this guy. They need to. They're not gonna get the money back from him. So unless Real Madrid do a violation thing and they say 60 million for him, or he stays with you for another then I don't know, man, but they're powerless right now.
I'm not saying that Saudis won't come back. They will. What I'm trying to tell you, Fly and Laurel, is that this was the best way for Mbappe to get to Real Madrid without burning any bridges, without hurting his career, without being held back by PSG. Right now, PSG don't want to get rid of him on a free. And who knows? Like, this is the other thing too. You guys haven't thought about this, but like, okay, let's say they managed to re-sign Mbappe, right? Because they don't want to let him go on a free. They vowed that. They have the backbone. They don't play him. They force basically Mbappe to re-sign a contract. What's to stop PSG from putting a price tag on Mbappe that is not fair for Real Madrid to pay?
Do you mean in terms of a release clause?
In terms of a release clause, or even just what the contract value is?
I mean, that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I mean, we've seen Barcelona. They have put €1 billion release clauses into the contracts of some of their players that they've given extensions. I think like Gavi, Pedri, and them kind of guys, they all have €1 billion release clauses. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that they can put them things in there to basically deter any suitors. But the problem is
basically trap them at PSG.
But the problem is the player and the agent have to agree to it, and that's where I think they're not gonna. Mbappe's not going to agree to a deal that traps him. Unless he's incredibly stupid or he has an incredibly stupid agent.
He keeps making money at PSG, but he doesn't want to be at PSG, and it's all drama. You guys.
I mean, does he want money though? Is it a money thing, or does he actually want to go to Real Madrid? And
I mean, clearly he doesn't want money because of this, right?
Well, yeah, that would suggest so. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the other thing, boys. Like, he will leave on a free next season. PSG don't want him to leave on a free. PSG are going to do everything and anything they can do, even the dirtiest tricks in the book, to try to keep this guy and have him re-sign a contract. I just don't. Maybe he leaves on a free. I don't know. If he does leave on a free, I think it's kind of a miracle, and I would wonder what the hell happened behind the scenes that made that happen, because it seems PSG are pissed the fuck off that he's even entertaining the idea he's going to be going on a free. PSG are not happy about this, and they've made it very clear they're not happy about letting him go on a free. So they're doing everything they can to sell him, which is why they put him on sale this transfer window. So PSG can't force him to leave or resign.
Yep.
Mbappe holds all the cards. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting situation. It's very dramatic. It's very high stakes. I'm very surprised he turned down that amount of money. It's insane. I'm sure PSG are not happy with him either, because they probably wanted that money. That's the other thing too.
This is their fault in the first place, because they trotted him out at the end of 2 seasons ago, holding a shirt that said Mbappe 2025, when in fact that 2025 was actually just a 1-year player activated clause in the contract. So they shouldn't have done that. They lulled their own fan base into a false sense of security. And they wrongly believe that this guy would just willy-nilly agree to activate that clause. They've just got it completely wrong.
No, you're right. I don't care about. I'm just saying, this is interesting stuff to talk about right now. It's a very interesting situation. There's nothing in the market that's anything close to like this much money. This is like the big signing of the summer. So it's just interesting to see it all unfold and the drama ensuing as a result as well. But regardless, we're a Chelsea show. I just thought it was interesting to dismiss the idea that Chelsea are going to get Mbappe, because for us to get Mbappe, we have to match the Saudi bid. And that's not when do we ever get a player of that caliber? It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. It never has, probably never will. Yeah.
It's extremely rare for that to happen, man. Let's be real. It is what it is.
So I mean, we make them happen. We make them, but we don't ever like get a player that's already ready-made like that. Well,
no, I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, Claude Makélélé was in the Galacticos team, so maybe him. He was high profile, but the examples are very few and far between, as you say.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. But let's move on to the next topic that I wanted to discuss. No, we're good. No, we don't need to.
Put in the power industry there, man. Come on, man.
There's children in the room, man.
I thought it was the Red Ranger.
It just the theme song started playing in my head.
Exactly.
All right. The next topic that we're going to be discussing, ladies and gents, is Christopher Vivell. This happened while we were not discussing this, so let's bring it up. I know it's a little bit of old news. Obviously, this is my show. That's how we roll. Old News FC, pretty much. That's what I'm changing the channel name to. Christopher Vivell will be on gardening leave at Chelsea for the next 12 months to allow Paul Winstanley and Lauren Stewart to oversee the football structure. He left due to having no clear role in the current structure. Continuing forward, we look here at the next tweet I have here from Nathan Gissing, or Fabrizio Romano. Christopher Vivell is on gardening leave and he's set to part ways with Chelsea. It's over, as Nathan Gissing, or is it Gissing? It's Gissing, right?
I think Gissing,
Nathan Gissing called. Paul Winstanley and Laura Stool taking care of the football club structure, and Chelsea with Joe Shields' key support. I was actually kind of surprised by this and a little disappointed because I kind of had high hopes for Christopher Vivell. After this dropped, it was brought to my attention that I guess, we have Christopher Vivell to thank for the whole Graham Potter sacking. He was one of the first to ring the alarm, right? But apparently he was also the one that actually had the first deal, the first negotiations with Enzo collapse. He also wanted oh my God, what's his name?
Nagelsmann.
Thank you. Julian Nagelsmann. He also wanted him, and that didn't work out either. Maybe things went sour after that, apparently. But are you guys upset about this? I mean, from my perspective, I was kind of hoping we could see more of Vivell. I feel like there is a very good talent ID there. He's has experience, the whole Red Bull model and all that. I would have loved to have seen more of his work, but it seems like maybe this is one of those cases where we overstaffed and he was just kind of left to the wayside.
Or maybe they just want to steal the information out of him of how to board a motor club model and just throw him to the wayside. That could just be it as well. But I mean,
it's all just very confusing to me, right? Because they quote one of the reasons as he didn't have a clear role in the club, and that Winstanley and Stewart have the controls now. But they were all hired at the same time, so you've got to kind of wonder, okay, what was the process there? You surely had to have known, or at least had an idea of what they were going to do. I just think it was a premature appointment, in hindsight, obviously, because we all know that Vivell was brought in to head the multi-club model and be the link between all the clubs. We didn't even have a club for the majority of his time here. We've only just picked up Strasbourg, and I can't remember the progress. I don't know of the progress that's going on with us getting that Portuguese club, whatever their names were, but it was just very premature. You can't have a guy just sitting there on the sidelines doing nothing for all that time.
Especially not someone of his talent or his caliber, I would say.
No, I mean, it's hard to really rate his. I don't know particularly what he did outside of Chelsea.
His portfolio, you know what I'm saying, Oliver?
I'm not very aware of his portfolio. I know he was in the Red Bull model, and that's good and all that. But I don't know if he's tied to any specific great players.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ahmed or Oliver. Wasn't he the one that recruited Haaland and Szoboszlai?
No,
possibly.
No.
Oh.
It wasn't him.
Oh,
it was another guy.
Was it Rangnick?
The other Christopher, right?
Yeah, Christopher Falk or something like that. It was Christopher.
Yes. Okay, I got them mixed up.
It's Falk,
but it was the other guy basically that was above him that we wanted, but then we went and decided to get Vivell instead. I think that's what's happening with Vivell is just that literally we just decided to take the knowledge of the multi-club model.
Oh, true, JK.
Yeah, we literally decided to get the multi-club model and everything, and learn that shtick for him. And now we've just used it to get Strasbourg. We've using Jorge Mendes to get a club now in Portugal, and that's how it's going so far. It's really that simple to me.
Yeah. Do you guys think that maybe in the future there might be a position where we do need Vivell and he would come back?
Well, when we have more clubs, yeah.
Yeah, when we have more than Strasbourg. Because right now we have Strasbourg.
Yeah.
And
so
Chelsea.
we jumped the gun on this one essentially, right?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it happens. You get a new club, you get all excited, and you make all these mistakes.
I just feel bad for Will right now because he was a big Vivell rep, and now he's gone.
Sure.
But yeah, it's. I mean, you can't really rate him on his body of work at Chelsea because he hasn't done a lot, and to be honest, if you want to go off the stuff he did, it was quite underwhelming. Like you said, Marshall, he was the one that headed the first end zone negotiations, which fell apart, and then Barley had to come in and rescue that. And he pushed Nagelsmann, which is understandable because they were part of that model.
Together,
you know, that's completely understandable. But then, you know, obviously we saw with the quotes from his agent that he just doesn't have the right attitude. And the fact that he's also, you know, PSG and Spurs didn't want him either. You know, that's clearly a him problem and not an us problem. So there's just not really a lot to go off in terms of positives. So, you know, you wish it could have gone better, but, you know, there's just nothing to really, you know, inspire yourself by with what we've seen. So it is what it is at the end of the day. I don't think many people are going to lose sleep over it.
Yeah, I'm over it already. But it was shocking to see. It came and went so fast. Like, this was so sudden. Like, everyone was focused on Caicedo and every other bit of news, the Olise news, and then this just kind of dropped out of nowhere. I was like, whoa, I did not expect this, especially someone of his caliber in name, you know? But yeah, ladies and gents, I do want to announce, by the way, the Bridge, Ahmed's channel. We will be doing a watch along there for the Chelsea game tonight. Me and Ahmed will be there, as well as maybe other people. Ahmed, I'm not sure.
Oliver said he might hop along.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
maybe. But listen, man, if it's just me and you, listen, man, I've got a 2-man, you know, tag team championship right here. Don't worry, man. We got this. Like
I know you guys will do just fine if I don't show up.
Let's go.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know if you just saw the knee that literally put it up right now. Bashir Humphries is starting.
Made my ears bleed with that sound.
So,
volume.
maybe Chalobah, bro. It's looking like the Chalobah stuff is true, bro. Man, it might be merits for the brother.
Yeah, we'll
we need a centre back.
Yeah, we'll definitely be touching on that subject because that's a big one too. I wanted to discuss with you guys. I feel very indifferent. Not indifferent. I feel very
passionate.
I don't know. I don't feel good about that one. But we'll discuss it for sure. But let me go ahead and ready up this next segment. Let's talk about Brighton. Brighton is cucking Chelsea pretty much. Yeah, let's get into it. All right. So
let me explain that. That's the euphemism, man. Why are you using it for this purposes? If you don't mind.
You want me to explain it?
Why are you saying that they're cucking us? Don't explain that for us. Yeah.
Because they know that their player doesn't want to be there, and they're wagging their tail and trying to say like, "Hey, we got what you want, man, and you can't have it unless you pay this unreasonable price, which you know is unreasonable. So we're just gonna keep this player. We're gonna wave him around like a fucking Twinkie on a damn fishing rod until.
But isn't cucking? You know, you're watching someone else get self-enjoyment.
I feel like we're enjoying it. Us as Chelsea fans, low key, we're enjoying the suffering that is
happening.
No, I am not. From
don't include me in that.
4 to 3 weeks that this has been happening for.
I do not gain enjoyment from pain personally, so
Oh my days! But hey, I'm just being over the top. Okay, this is what I do. But all right, let's just start this off with this little tweet here. Mauricio Pochettino is growing increasingly concerned about the lack of experience in the squad and the slow progress with signings. I think that's reasonable, Poch. I think that's reasonable. But we move. So. Start things off, the Zerbi says that if Chelsea offer Colwell, it might help them with Caicedo. This was earlier in the week. Constant conversations being brought up about Colwell and his future, Caicedo and how the deal could go. This was prior to the Brighton match that happened on Sunday, right? That was Sunday, right? Yeah. Oh no, Saturday. I'm sorry. The Zerbi again on Caicedo. I didn't give this is some deceiving shit here. I didn't give my word for anything. At the moment, I haven't received news that Caicedo can leave tomorrow or in the next week. Colwell included in the deal. I would like to play with Colwell and Caicedo together. Man, you need to be quiet here. Caicedo himself fears that Chelsea may walk away. Sources confirm, though, that he is still top summer target going forward. Moises Caicedo is extremely disappointed to still be at Brighton. Brighton's so-called asking price of £100 million, even though this number was never explicitly quoted to Chelsea, is branded ridiculous by multiple sources close to the player. This is coming from Ben Jacobs. Moving forward, Moises Caicedo has directly told De Zerbi and some senior players of Brighton hierarchy that he wants to leave. I will have more tomorrow, but there has been no third bid yet from Chelsea, coming from Ben Jacobs earlier in the week. Moving forward, Brighton are prepared to let negotiations drag until the end of the window and test Chelsea's determination to keep Colwell. Chelsea hope they don't have to look at alternatives to Caicedo. Going forward, negotiations for Moises Caicedo are stalling as Brighton keep bringing up Levi Colwill in negotiations. The recruitment team now must weigh up how best to continue the pursuit, as they are reluctant to spend £100 million on the defender, on the central defensive midfielder. Jacob Steinberg reporting. Then we have Chelsea are not close to meeting Brighton's valuation for Moises Caicedo yet. They are becoming frustrated with Brighton's insistence on including Levi Colwill in the deal and their reluctance to provide an actual asking price. I think that's key right there, ladies and gents. Caicedo's camp is starting to push now, as they are fearful that their client is being priced out of a move. This is coming from C. Parker Turner. There's conviction internally at Brighton that Levi Colwill really wants to come back to play under De Zerbi, with the added incentive of Europa League, which parent club Chelsea cannot offer this season, coming from Andy Naylor of The Athletic. Breaking: Colwill is confirmed staying, Pochettino has told media. In the press conference, I believe this was after the Brighton game, he is our player and he is going to continue with us. He is a good player and did better than expected. I am so happy with him, and he can become one of the best center backs in England. This is coming from Nazar Cancella. And then the last tweet I got here coming from Fabrizio Romano. And there's more updates too. I just didn't get a chance to pull them up. I'll find them while we're discussing this. Moises Caicedo really wants to move, so let's see how he will act in the next day. But I can guarantee the negotiations are ongoing and that it's not over. I know Chelsea fans are getting impatient, but he wants to join Chelsea as his priority, and they are working on it. Fabrizio Romano reporting right there. So right now, still at a standstill, but, and I think Ahmed, maybe you were going to say this, but Brighton did just get a center back today.
No,
there was a here we go. Well, that is a thing that happened today, I believe, and hopefully that means that they're not in for Colwill anymore. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, that definitely will end any of the Colwill talks. I'm pretty sure, and everyone here will agree with me on that one. You know what, man? Just bear with me for a quick second. It seems that I've lost a prop that I'm looking for right now. I'm just bear with me. Oh, my prop is here actually. There it is. Lovely jubbly. You guys know that I am a big fan of cards, right? I love cards. I'm a very big blackjack fan. But right now there are two cards right now on the table for Chelsea Football Club, in my opinion, when it comes to Caicedo, right? So this is the ace of spades. There you go. See, look at that, man. I'm even doing tricks for you guys. This is the ace of spades, and this is the ace of diamonds, right? These are the two options that you've got right now. This is option A right now, is that Chelsea Football Club decide to literally the £80 million. I get you want to stick with that. Either you stick with those guns. You say £80 million, and if Brighton are not willing to accept it, and they already have the power anyway, and you know that, you move on and look for your alternatives and use the scouting department that you have to do so. All right. The second option that you've got right now, if you're Chelsea Football Club, they already talked about the valuation of prices, which is £100 million, it seems. Either you essentially meet that valuation either by doing a 90 plus 10 or an 85 plus 15, and you get yourself Caicedo. And that is the only two options that you have right now. And for me, it's looking like at this point, if the deal is not done this week, that it's time to move on, in my opinion, because you're wasting time with in like 1 hour and 11 minutes. It's gonna literally be 17 days until the next 17 days until the Liverpool game, and we could be stuck with a midfield of Gallagher and Enzo as the starting midfield. Lord have mercy, bro. I need a heart. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
No, you guys in chat are too funny, man.
No, but you know what, man. Listen, is that how it goes? No. Listen, man.
Listen, Morbius. Listen. not Morbius, Morpheus.
Morbius, Jesus Christ, I'm not a vampire.
Listen, I don't think there's just a red pill, blue pill here. I think
What?
there is a,
It's a
I
black
think there
guy.
is a third route. I think there is a third route here, and I believe it's just waiting to see what Caicedo does, because I think like.
He's not
I think at the
pushing.
end of the day, that's what I mean. Like, let's see what he does this week. If he doesn't push, then he doesn't want the Chelsea move as much as he says he does. That's how I see it.
You say that, but it's not always the easiest thing. And sometimes, like some players will be like that, and some players won't. And I think the problem the club has got is whichever way, whatever happens now, they end up looking like idiots one way or another. They end up looking like idiots because they overpay, or they end up looking like idiots because you spent 2 months or whatever it is just fucking around with this guy. Not only that, you put yourselves in this position. If we'd have got this deal done before Arsenal finished the Rice deal, we'd have got him for 80 mil and we'd be chilling. Because we wasted time and they saw what Rice went in for, now they're wanting more money because of that, because they see what Rice went for and they know they can get that money.
So,
and that's on us. This is the problem, and this is the issue I have. It's not necessarily the fact that there aren't other players other than Caicedo, because there are. But the problem is there's two problems with that. Number one, and this, I don't necessarily care about this, but this might be something they think about. Are Chelsea fans in general going to accept going from a Caicedo, especially after what happened with Ugarte, right? Are they going to accept going from a Caicedo to a, let's just throw a name out there, a Florentino Luis? Say we get him for 30 mil. Are people going to be happy about that, going from Caicedo to what we could have done? Because most people won't know Florentino Luis, you know?
Exactly.
yeah.
And the other problem they've got is, like, as I said, you wasted so much time, you just look stupid. And for me, like, we're at the stage where they might overpay. Like, they might look silly and overpay, but you're getting an incredible player who's going to help this team, is perfect for the other midfielder you have. And at the end of the day, in 2-3 months, look what's happened with Enzo. No one's talking about his price because of how good he's been. 2-3 months, no one's going to care that you paid 100 mil for Caicedo, because hopefully you're looking at it and going, and oh, he's been an asset to the club. Because like Ahmed said, right now, we've got no one, and we're going into Liverpool with an option of midfield of either Gallagher and Enzo or Santos and Enzo, neither of which is good enough against that Liverpool midfield, especially with the revamp they've had. Right. It's just, they put themselves in this position today, and I just prefer to go and get Caicedo, because, as I said, he's a great player. Yes, he's probably replaceable. There are other options, but you've put yourself in a position now where, like, if you pull out now, you've wasted so much time over this, unnecessary time as well. That's the thing. If we'd spent 2 weeks on this, I think I'd say you can drop out now and it's fine. We spent 2 months.
The fact that the club are now, I don't know if you're going to report this now, what's his name, Marshall, literally apparently considering going for Lavia right now, just because Liverpool are trying to find an agreement for him. Only for me, this shows that the club are literally are in like two minds right now, either pay it or go for an alternative, because they're literally now going for Lavia for some reason, considering going for Lavia right now, according to Tom Roddy of the Times. So it's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, either they're just literally,
But Lavia
real quick, before we go on, I want to say let's give a welcome back to Scott. It's been weeks since he's been on, so Scott, welcome back, my guy.
What happened? They're cooking Scott or something. What's going on?
Welcome back, Scott. It's nice to hear you. But the second thing I wanted to say to Scott, though, is that, like, okay, I agree that we wasted time, but do you think part of that is because these guys refuse to give us a price for Caicedo?
Yeah, but that's like, we're talking about one of their best players. This is their best midfielder. Now that McAllister's gone, this is their clearly best midfielder. Like, they told him he could leave, but that's not going to say they're going to sell him for like 10 mil. Like, at the end of the day, they want to keep him for whatever, like at all, like, if they can. And if Caicedo is happy to stay, obviously he was told he could leave, but if he is happy to stay, like, to the point where he's not going to just not turn up to training, put a transfer request, etc., they're more than happy to just keep going with this, because they just signed a new contract in January. Like, they've got no reason to accept anything of what we're offering. Because the thing is, it's a similar thing. I can't remember who I brought this up about before. I can't remember. There was a player I was about to use the same analogy for, where it's like, well, they're in a position where it was the Colwill thing, where at the time where it's about, like, with Colwill, they know that in a year's time with Caicedo, if they keep him, they can still sell him for the same money. He's not going to get that much worse, as they can't still get this same amount of money for him next season. Not unless he has a major injury or a massive drop off a cliff, which I don't think he'll have. So you're still getting the same money but that's an extra year of where you've been playing in the Europa League. I want to say they finished in Europa League places. That's extra money there. That's extra exposure. That's potentially extra players or better players in, or like more suitable replacements for him. Like, this is the thing. It's just, and this is where I say we've put ourselves in this position, for me, more than anything. If you decided that this idea of overpaying you weren't going to do with the Ugarte thing, fair play, and you weren't going to do it with Caicedo, fair play, then you should have pulled out ages ago. We shouldn't be hearing about new targets now.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, if they're going to be so stingy on the whole, but then again, like, if you don't know what the hell the asking price is, like, per se, like, these are all rumors, right? What they're rumoring, what the asking price is going to be. What is the real asking price? That should be happening in the negotiation table. But if
we already know what the asking price is. It's literally been released in the media, Marshall. 100 million is what they want.
That's rumors.
No, that's what they've been. Even the Brighton guys are literally quoting 100 million. Chelsea are already willing to go to 80 million pounds. Why are Chelsea willing to go to 80 million pounds if they already know what the price is? 100 million pounds. That's what I'm thinking to you, Marshall. It's, at the end of the day, it's as simple as that. You know, Brighton don't need to negotiate with you because they've got this guy locked up. Hold on.
Here's the thing, though, Ahmed. Like, when negotiations started prior to that Rice deal, like, that price was around 80 million pounds. And then once the Rice deal happened, all of a sudden that price spiked up.
Listen,
so, like, what did that price spike up to?
The brick went up.
There should be clarity on that.
No, but Marshall, it sets a market precedent. This is why Bellingham went for loads of money, because we got Enzo for over 100. So Bellingham went for loads at the same.
I should preface this as well. I think I'm in agreements with Scott, and probably Ahmed. I don't know if all of you guys are in the same boat, but like, I think we should pay the price. But I get where Chelsea are coming from on this.
Marshall, I literally said this to you. Either pay up now or the shop, because it's too late now. You've got it's literally 1 month and like 3 weeks. It's gonna be.
But what would you do? Like, would you actually pay it?
Honestly, for me, if I can find a better option, a better price for Chelsea Football Club, then do that. But if he's the only one that you know that's good enough for you to play next to Enzo, then buy him. Simple as that.
I personally think, like, I would pay it. Look, we saw what happened with Enzo. Like, no one's complaining. At least no Chelsea fan that I know of is complaining about the price tag for Enzo, and reasonably so. He's a good player. I think Caicedo is a good player, and no one will be complaining about that price tag. I just think for us in the market for Chelsea, I get where they're coming from. Because it's going to look bad on them, and it looks like, oh, you can just bully Chelsea into any price and they'll pay it. Look what they did for Enzo,
That I get, and I also think I feel like the club have been burnt considering some of the prices they paid in the summer for some players that have not turned out right, and that's why I feel like the club are trying to be a bit more hesitant. I think maybe that's just the point of view they're taking. But at the end of the day, man, either just pay up or look for alternatives. Really, it's as simple as that, man.
Yeah.
Because you know what's going to be crazy? If this Kudus deal, which apparently is now taking place, the discussion of Ajax happens before this midfield, the midfield situation, that just goes to show how poor we are, literally, in terms of negotiating. That's all I'm going to say. It just shows how poor we are in terms of negotiating. The fact that we can get a deal done for 40 million, but for some reason we can't get a deal done for 80 to 100 million.
Yeah, and I would say too, like, hey, if we were gonna pull out of that Caicedo deal, we should have done it earlier because we wasted time not trying to get Lavia before Liverpool went in for them. Not to say like Lavia is the same caliber as Caicedo. I understand he's still a youngster. I just think the club sees him as more of a fit for that midfield pivot than for, say, a Santos that needs to develop more into European football, than a Caicedo who we see that he could potentially still go out on loan. Gallagher's not good enough for that pivot as well. You know, we still need midfielders, man. And Carney, I don't know, Carney's up in the air too.
Listen, Paul Stanley, listen, mate, you need to stop taking pictures of you and Lawrence, at lunch, I mean, we don't need to know about your lunch times, what you're having for dinner, with the ownership. I just needed to get some signings done, bro. That's all I'm asking for, man. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all good. It's all good. It's all well and good doing the outgoings and stuff, right? But we need some incomers now, boss man.
Yeah, I agree. We do need to, because now it's getting to a point where now we're doing too many outgoings to the point where like our team is looking a little thin. The
thing is, I spoke about this on Lewis's stream. It's not even just like the outgoings we're doing are in places where we need players, but we're getting players in positions where we don't need players. So we're just, I know that I do like a lot of what the owners have done this window in terms of the actual guys they signed from a talent perspective. But from a priorities perspective, what we've done this window has just seemed all over the place, like, massively all over the place.
Yeah, and Oliver, do you have any 2 cents on this, by the way, on this whole situation?
I just want to see an end to it. I want to either get him or not. You know, I'm just sick of seeing the repetitive reports and the drama and all that. You know, I'm just done with it. You know, we spent too long on it. Get him or don't. If not, then move on. Just that's all I have to say. You know, I'm bored.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. So let me go ahead and any final thoughts on what we just discussed? I hope it gets done. Either we walk away or either we get it done. I mean, either way, I think it's damn if we do, damn if we don't in this situation. To be honest, like we put ourselves in quite a pickle. Unfortunately, Brighton didn't help, obviously, but at the same time, like we should have had more conviction, I think, in what we were going to do with this negotiation, and probably have more of a plan. But
they want him under 80 million. What? Is that true?
What?
I need to check that report, man. That can't be true. That you want him under 80 million. No way. That is crazy.
I mean, I think if that's true, it's probably based off of the fact that the valuation for that player was around 80 million in January, and prior to the Rice selling or the Rice deal being done. Once Rice deal got done, I think the price went up to 100.
What did Arsenal bid in January?
70 million.
70.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I didn't know that.
So you knew, if that report is true, by the way, you already knew.
Just check it now.
Cool. But when I say true, is in like, obviously I don't know how legitimate the source is, right?
It's Tom Roddy from the Times. It's Tom Roddy from the Times. He's the one that just reported on Lukaku stuff as well.
So yeah, like if that's the case, you already knew he was going to cost you more than 70 mil because that's what Arsenal bid, and it got turned down in January. Right? You already knew that was pretty much what his valuation was to begin with.
And he signed a contract as well.
So why? This is again, if that's true, big if that's true, that is some stupidity from like the highest order. That's just some dumb. I don't have words.
Welcome back to the channel, Scott. But yeah, this whole thing is frustrating, and I get where the Chelsea fans are coming from. We wanted this deal to be. I said it was going to get done 2 weeks ago, didn't I? Like I said 2 weeks ago it would get done, but we're still here chilling and figuring out like, are we going to fucking do this or not? I mean, I don't want to be looked at as pushovers in the market, but I don't think anyone is going to give a shit if we end up getting and paying this price for this player, and it ends up being a phenomenal player that we're going to have at Chelsea for years after, you know.
I mean, it's like Scott said, we look bad either way, so just pick one.
Yeah, it's true. We do look bad in a situation either way. But that being said, let's talk about the other midfielder that we were discussing vaguely in this, or we touched upon in this topic. Let's talk about Mr. Lavia here. So let me bring up the tweet right now. Boom. Okay. So we have here David Ornstein reporting earlier in the week, or today actually. Chelsea maintains a firm interest in Romelu Lavia. However, negotiations are ongoing between Liverpool, and there is now an increasing likelihood of a deal being agreed upon with the Merseyside club. I think even Lavia expressed he's interested in Liverpool. Unless we come in with like a better,
well, apparently
what do they call that?
The news that came out right now.
Payment structure.
Chelsea are considering making a move for Romelu Lavia after this news. That's all that's come out, and so I don't know what's going on. Honestly, man. Listen, if you want to get him, just get him. You know the price is 50 million. Like the way that Liverpool are moving, they're trying to get him for like 42 million plus like 2.5 million add-ons. If you just bid what you bid last time, you'd probably get Lavia straight away.
What did we bid last time? Did we make a bid for?
We bid 50 in the summer.
Yes.
Right at the end, like after he scored against us in that game. Like,
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, pretty much.
By the way, people, almost not, oh, actually, there is 90 of you here. Smash that like button. Let's get to 50 likes, please. We do appreciate it, as it does help out the channel. And listen, man, you don't go into someone's house with muddy shoes and you don't wipe your feet. You know what I mean? So come on, man. Wipe your feet at the door. Smash that like button. We appreciate it. But do you think that if we don't get Caicedo, is Lavia gonna be enough?
You know,
Is that a suitable like?
You know what the ironic thing
like,
about
okay.
Lavia? You know what the ironic thing about Lavia is, from what I've heard, Santos isn't Santos like very similar to him, like in terms of like development wise or not? Like, or am I?
Depending on how you want to look at it. Right?
So, is he even necessary? You know what I'm saying? Is he even necessary then?
That's what I'm getting at too, a little bit.
Like, I don't think he's. The thing with Lavia is he's a very good player, right?
Mm-hmm.
The issue is that I have with it, and I keep having to point this out to people because I don't think people understand this. People forget, before last season, he was playing in the Premier League 2. That was the level he was playing at. He was one of the best players, but that was the level he was playing at. Santos, before this season, was playing a much higher level than that. Much higher level. Like, so you want about the Brazilian league, but I'm telling you now, the Brazilian second division is higher than the Premier League 2 in terms of ability and in terms of playing level. So you could argue that come at the end of this season, Santos could be at the same place in his development, or be at the same level, or be even higher in terms of a level than Lavia was last season, if we give him the right development. And that's the thing, is like, it's just like the Lavia thing. It doesn't really excite me that much, not because I don't think he's a good player, but just because I think he's too young. Number one, I think he's 19. Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on a guy at 19, like, in the midfield. From what I've seen as well, he was quite inconsistent at times last season. He was very good, but he was also quite inconsistent at times. Also, the areas that I would say are best would be passing, and there was something else as well. Like, his positioning was one of his worst areas last season for Southampton.
Good at tackling too, isn't he?
He's a good tackler, but like, his positioning was like the worst bit. And it's like, you can coach that, obviously, but considering that was the issue we had with Enzo last season, I don't really want the other midfielder having the same issue. So, like, if we're not getting Caicedo, I'd just go and get someone like Amrabat, to be honest, or someone like that. Like, even that doesn't sound massively appealing to me, I can't lie.
But the thing is, Scott, even Amrabat, guess what's happening with him? Man United have basically tapped him up to prepare for him to go to them after they signed Højlund. So it's like, we're actually running out of midfield options, if you've been honest. Like, who's left after this? What, Zubimendi's one of them, from what I know. I think the Kone injury.
And isn't Zubimendi already being linked to another club? I can't remember which club though.
Well,
I just saw it last night.
Kone's injured. He's also not a 6. And by the way, if we go for him after him being recommended by Vivell, us ignoring him to the point where he left, and then we go for him anyway, again, just from a PR perspective, or like a visual perspective, do you know how stupid that looks? That's what I'm saying with these owners and with this transfer. Like, this whole transfer has made them, like, they're going to look stupid either way. They're going to just look dumb.
Well, I mean, is it on the owners? It's on Win Stanley, isn't it?
It's on all of them, right? It's on all of the above.
Yeah. So, like, we're literally at the end of the day, we're literally running out of midfield options. That's what I'm trying to get at. So,
I mean, the only other one I can think of who we've been linked to is Amadou Onana, Everton.
And even him, he's gonna take a heavy amount of money because he
would.
So we're in the words of like some NFL guy that I used to, legend that I used to watch, we're running out of recipes right now. We're running out of recipes, quite literally. We're literally running out of recipes, guys.
Even Onana though,
huh?
Even Onana though, he's not a 6 either. So like,
yeah, exactly.
All the guys we're talking about, apart from Caicedo and probably
funny
Lavia,
you say that. This too. I forgot about this tweet, but Chelsea's still keeping an eye on Romelu Lavia and Gabriel Veiga, who is also another 6.
Right, I was just saying, apart from, you've got like Lavia, who could probably play as the 6, but again, I'm not massively confident. You've got Amrabat can, and you've got Caicedo. Every other midfielder we're looking at is not a 6. So it's like, we're going to end up with Enzo being the deepest midfielder again, which is not what we want.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you for Blue Lounge for the congrats, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, once again, guys, we will be celebrating Friday. The 2K stream will be there. We'll probably be having call-ins and all that kind of stuff. We'll do a lot of activities, but yeah, it'll be a fun one. So stay tuned for that one, obviously. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a link somewhere. I don't remember. Zubimendi was basically almost a here we go. He had agreed to do a club. Am I?
You must be bugging me.
He's still at Sociedad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
We might be talking about Oriol Romero. That's our former.
Yeah, Romelu went to
He's at
Barcelona.
Barca now. Mm-hmm.
Oh well, okay. But yeah, so we'll see what's gonna happen with Lavia, and also see what's gonna happen with Gabri Veiga. This has gone really cold.
Gabri Veiga. The reason why Gabri Veiga is not happening is because Connor Gallagher is staying at the football club.
It's not, bro. I'll be real, Ahmed. It shouldn't even be that. Like,
that's the reason why, really.
No, it shouldn't be that though, because even if we sell Gallagher, like that's not a like for like replacement. Actually, it probably is, but even so, the problem with Gallagher in this team is he doesn't fit. So why are you going to get another guy that doesn't fit? Maybe because the thing Veiga probably could play the 10. I'd rather play Kudus at the 10, and I don't even think the 10 is Kudus' best position. I'd rather play Kudus.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather go and get Cherki, play him as the 10.
If my theory is correct, yeah, and we're trying to get both Olise and what's it called, Kudus, then we might be playing Olise in the 10 from what I'm thinking. And then
I assume it would be Kudus at the 10, to be honest. And Elise will be right.
We will be discussing more of those players, obviously, a little later in the show. Another player that I wanted to bring up that we haven't brought up in some time, and it looks like this is actually going somewhere, which is good for us. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Apparently, he's being blocked for a move to Fulham. But I got details right here, so let's. I don't know why. So Marco Silva's decision to stay could also change Callum Hudson-Odoi's future. Marco Silva being the Fulham manager, I believe.
Yes.
Lazio in advanced talks to sign him, but Fulham have always been keen on signing him and will resume contacts for Cho as Silva's staying. Chelsea want it done ASAP and on a permanent deal. This was early in the week from Fabrizio. Then we have Nazar Cancela tweet here. Callum Hudson-Odoi is keen to leave Chelsea as soon as possible and has agreed for personal terms with Fulham. Chelsea have been trying to drive up the price and have invited Lazio into the race. And then the latest tweet that I have here regarding this is Chelsea are currently blocking Premier League offers for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who they would prefer to sell abroad. Fulham and Nottingham Forest are interested. This is coming from Nate Gissing. This is weird. I don't understand why we're blocking a move for Premier League clubs when we didn't have an issue with doing that when it comes to Kovacic, Jorginho, and so on and so forth.
Mount, Havertz.
Mount, Havertz.
It's not the master's not nothing. I'll be real.
Doesn't make sense to
No,
me.
it's not even
And if
that,
the
like,
player
I
wants to
can't
stay
lie.
in London, like
We're probably going to talk about another player, but like they've done well for the most part with the outgoings in terms of not being too stingy for the most part, or not being like
I know what you're talking about.
trying to squeeze every bit of money out of a club. But like, bro, it's Callum Hudson-Odoi, and then we're going to get talking about the other guy who apparently it got rejected as well, or they pulled out the race for because of price. These guys are not good. These guys don't matter. They're not involved in the squad. Just sell at whatever price. If Fulham come in with £5 million, you sell for £5 million. Because guess what? It's £5 million profit. And who cares? You get rid of someone out of the club who's not going to be here long term. Like, there's no reason to just be like trying to hike the price up. Like,
yeah,
you're going to get maybe like, let's be real, for Hudson-Odoi, you're going to get maybe $1 million extra than you would have done before. Ooh.
Maybe trying to start a bidding war, which would be really odd for Callum Hudson-Odoi. I'm not gonna lie.
That interest doesn't exist though.
Yeah, but as I say, why? Because what happens when they both go? We're only paying $8 million.
They want $8 million, don't they?
Oh yeah, what happens when Lazio go? Well, here's what we want, and Fulham go. Now we're not that bothered, and we'll pull out. And then Lazio have gone. Oh, we'll give you a loan. Like, this is the thing. Like, it's the same with Gallagher, who we'll get onto in a moment. Like,
sure.
Why we're trying to push the price up to 50 mil, whatever it was. It's getting gone. These guys aren't good players. They're not like they're not important. I understood for the Mount thing, right? And I understood for the Havertz thing, right? I just don't.
Scott, I don't think it's going to be that easy because apparently there's some. Even the news came out like literally 1 hour ago that apparently he wants to stay and fight for his place.
Who?
Oh my
But
god!
who?
Are you talking about Callum?
Gallagher.
Oh,
Hey, guess what,
you scared the
Ahmed?
shit out of me.
Ahmed, bro. Guess what? I want a Bugatti Veyron and to live in a mansion. It ain't happening either, though, my man. Like, I don't care what this guy wants. Get him gone.
Oh my lord!
Like, just get him gone, man. He's not it.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is kind of with these two deals in particular. I'm not talking about any others. These two deals in particular and the way they are kind of like stalling or if not collapsing, just reminds me of the old, Marina haggling rubbish that we used to do. When we criticised her for that, we need to criticise these guys for doing it here as well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's fair. And it doesn't make sense because it does seem like penny pinching for players that we're desperate to get rid of. You know what I'm saying?
Not even that.
I'm not even desperate, but
not even that. It's not like we're trying to like get money in to make players. We're not Wolves, right? Where they have to sell players to get players in, like sell players to get other players in because of the FFP stuff. Like, just sell. Like they're not good. They're not good players. They've got no place in the squad really. Like, you can say Gallagher's a decent squad player, but you can easily sell him for 40 mil and buy his replacement for half that, and I guarantee you that replacement will be as good. Like, it makes no sense.
No.
I'm just tired, mate. For real.
Okay. I have a this is gonna be an awesome segment. It's like every week we have to have this segment where we have to talk about the future of this guy.
Oh no. I know who.
This guy.
Is it Lukaku?
Let's
Oh, brilliant.
the one and only
The
baby.
new Mount, man.
It's a new Mount. It's just not even the new Mount. It's just the same old Lukaku. Always causing a fucking fuss, man. All right, let's bring him up. So, Lukaku had this to say. when that hate don't work, they start telling lies. Oh yeah, Big Rob, we're telling lies, man. This guy. I think he had another one too about like you can't trust your like you can never trust, or you don't know who you can trust nowadays or something like that.
Lukaku talking about trust. Yeah.
I know. This got worse, by the way. Romelu Lukaku is no longer a priority signing for Juve, who have put their pursuit on standby. All the Chelsea strikers have left now is Saudi Arabia. This is 6 days ago. This was last week. We understand Al Hilal, the club that was interested in our boy here. And Fulham are on the verge of reaching an agreement for Alexander Mitrovic. Final details being sorted. Player agreed terms days ago. He wants to move, and clubs are now close to two bids rejected. Fulham will sign Raul Jimenez. I think Fulham and Raul Jimenez is a here we go.
Yes,
and,
here we go.
Yeah, and also this is already a here we go with Al Hilal.
No, not Mitrovic, but Jimenez is.
So if Al Hilal get the striker, they don't need a striker. So then what happens to Romelu? Okay, so this is the latest that I have today. Juve will try to convince Chelsea to let them sign Romelu Lukaku on loan with an option to buy.
Italy.
They believe they are in strong position. Lukaku does not want to go to Saudi, but Chelsea are reluctant to agree to another loan deal. Hey, I agree, Chelsea. Get this guy off the books. Look at this guy. Look at his grin. Look at him. Oh my god, I can't stand him. He's like trolling us, man. Fuck me, man.
This is the problem we have with Lukaku, and it's not even just a problem of our own making; it's a problem of his as well. Where I mentioned this, I think, on Lewis's stream before, where it's like the problem you've got with Lukaku, right, is in theory you look at him as a player, right, and I'm not talking about ability; I'm just talking as a goal scorer. There should be teams lining up to sign a goal scorer of his level. Say what you want about him off the field, on the field in terms of ability, like his weight in the past, whatever. In terms of goal scoring, you cannot question that. There should be teams lining up to sign him, and there aren't. There was one Saudi team which now went for Mitrovic over him, Mitrovic, by the way. You've got Juve and Inter, was Inter, now Juve, both of whom want him on loan. So they don't want him that much. No one wants this guy. And the reason no one wants this guy is because his attitude and what he does in locker rooms is piss poor. And that is the problem. Like, this guy should be like so much in a such better place than where he is, and it's of his own making why he isn't. Also, we're stuck with him because he can't go anywhere else.
He's blacklisted, man. I'm telling you, he's done an Anelka to himself. Where Anelka literally got blacklisted, and the only place he could play was literally Bolton. Remember, after Chelsea, the next team he played for, I think, was Bolton. Was it before Chelsea that we played for Bolton?
No, that was before. You're talking about but that was a different reason.
Obviously, there's a different reason, but the point I'm trying to make is, at the end of the day, he himself has blacklisted himself basically from a lot of clubs. No one is going to take this guy. Like, even in Italy, he's almost completely blacklisted at this point. Like, Juve are trying to do this same thing, which Chelsea won't accept. And literally, Spanish League, are they going to take Lukaku? No. Is PSG going to take Lukaku? No. Premier League? Hell no. So, like,
I'll be completely honest. The only option we've got now you've got two options, and one is just should be a non-starter from the start. You can either bring him back into the team, which should be a non-starter from the beginning, or you just have to accept this loan offer and hope that the offer to buy is like 40 mil or 30 mil or something.
Yeah,
but like no one's buying him. The MLS can't afford him, by the way. The only few teams in the MLS that probably could afford him are LAFC. They can't get him because of the way the squad is set up in there. Maybe Atlanta, they don't need him. Maybe LA Galaxy, they can't buy him because of their band or something. Like, there's no one that, like, you can't get rid of him unless a Saudi team are going to come back in for him.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Bro, literally, so the thing of the LA Galaxy is that they're actually banned because of some stupid transfer they did from South America that cost them. So they're cooked for that. But listen, man, at the end of the day, man, Lukaku, man, he's cooked. It's literally for him, yeah. And I don't think he realizes this yet, but eventually he's gonna have to realize. It's really Saudi. He's really gonna have to be, or like his lawyers or Rock Nation have to tell him right now, it's Saudi or bust, because no one else is gonna take you, bro. Literally.
Do you know what's annoying as well on a personal level is this motherfucker has managed to prove me wrong twice. Like, has managed to make, like, or not prove me.
There's pride involved in this.
Yeah, he's managed to prove me wrong, bro. Like, he literally. So I was one of the people who wanted him when he first came, and obviously that went up in a great heaping pile of shit. And I still maintain, but I've said on this channel and other channels that you can sell anyone, you can get rid of anyone because there's always a market. This guy's managed to be the one person where there's no fucking market for him. The one dude. There's no goddamn market for him. Bastard.
Quite literally it, bro. He's cooked himself. You know what? The craziest thing about Lukaku's story, yeah, is that, like, compared to other players, he's the one that's fucked himself. There's literally no other way to put it than he fucked himself. And honestly, you know what? I think what makes it worse for him, yeah, is that, you know, when he looks back on his career, bro, his career is not going to be looked back on with respect.
He's going down in history as one of the biggest underachievers in their career ever.
Exactly.
For what he should have achieved rather than what he has achieved, he's got to go down as one of the biggest underachievers. And I'm not talking it's not in a Ronaldo, like an R9 sense, where it's like it was an unlucky sort of thing. Like, this is he did it to himself sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll just say to this, like, I feel like there's probably things happening for Ziyech under the wraps that we don't know about. I would say more than Lukaku, though. I think I think all of us
I can't lie to you.
That. I think there's more place for him. Shit!
Might actually for reasons to do with what's his name, the Quincy Promise situation, because that might be one of the reasons why Ziyech is okay any offer from Europe, unironically, since the summer. Trust me on that one, bro.
I don't necessarily think it's that. I think it's down to injuries. Like, that was the whole thing with the whatever team it was.
No, I don't remember.
Nasser.
Okay.
That was the problem with them, is like that it was just an injury sort of thing, and I think that's the thing. It's like, and I think the thing with Ziyech is it's not a Kante where I think wasn't in the the Kante transfer? Wasn't there like a problem with his medical, but they still went ahead with everything because it's Kante? Ziyech ain't that. Like, Ziyech is like, if there's an injury problem, then it's like, maybe we don't need you as much as we think we do.
Would you guys take this?
Yes, I would, bro. Yes,
I feel like I would take this.
Yes, bro. Do you know why? Because he gets that 400 grand a week wage off our thing, and Eddie Nketiah.
There's a K a week, bro.
But like he can chill on the bench or in the reserves, play FIFA like his old Chelsea career on 50 grand a week, and that's calm. Like, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
I would.
And to dump Lukaku off at Arsenal as well. Oh my god,
that'd be wonderful.
That's the stuff of dreams.
All right, boys. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic before Scott starts crying on stream.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's no more Ziyech talk as well. Yeah, I don't want to talk Ziyech.
No. We're fine.
Great work, man. Great work.
Anyways, let's go ahead and discuss this. I think this went under the wraps. I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, I don't know how reliable Sky Sports is. Maybe a little, but Armando Broja is set to stay at Chelsea and fight for his place next season, despite reported interest from West Ham. I like this. First of all, I like this because we don't have another striker.
No,
if he
goes,
then it's in Kunku and Jackson.
You guys don't find it weird because, like, I was speaking to this actually about with Safa in my previous live stream that I did today,
Sure.
And like we and him were discussing the fact that he'd apparently already come back from his ACL injury. He'd been training like 2 to 3 weeks earlier before preseason even started at Cobham. He was looking ready and fit. And like, when I heard the news that he wasn't going because he was still recovering, I was a bit surprised because like I'm pretty sure surely
I was under the
recovered,
impression he was good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, same. So and then obviously there were these rumors about West Ham trying to be in advanced negotiations with him. So that's what I'm saying to you. It was a bit weird, honestly. So
yeah, I
don't know if the club maybe the club is hiding the fact that maybe there are offers for him and they're thinking about maybe loaning him out.
Honestly, this I don't know how I could be right on this, and I don't like it, but it really seems to me outside of the very obvious assets, Chilwell, Reece James, Kepa because we can't get rid of him of his wages. It really feels like the owners just want to start from scratch with their own signings, despite the Cobham players being decent. Even Broja, like I haven't seen him play, but like from what I saw, Broja, I think it was good. It wasn't like a standout like a James or I'm not saying Chilwell is Cobham, but like Chilwell also just signed a new contract and he has his uses, even though he hasn't been too good lately defensively, I would say. But regardless of that, I just think that they're just trying to reset this team completely. Even if Chalobah's decent enough, and even with the fact that we'll talk about it, but with Gallagher, there being a bid for him that we're trying to get rid of him. I just feel like these managers just want to get rid of everything from the previous regime and start from scratch completely. It just seems that way to me. Because even Broja, like you guys haven't even tried Broja, and you're already trying to take bids for him or like a loan from him or whatever. Not even a loan, but like I didn't hear about a loan for Broja. I was just hearing West Ham is interested, and we were worried that it wouldn't be a loan. I was worried it would be just sell.
Thing for me though is these kind of things like this Broja thing heavily depends on how you got to look at Poch and you got to look at all. But before preseason, we all had Nkunku as the 10, but he's played exclusively as a striker, and then we've also seen Jackson, who is he's played better than Nkunku, but they've both scored some goals. They're both looking really good right now. So unless Poch sees he wants to try that Jackson and Nkunku is like a 10 and a 9. I just Broja is a third choice, and does he want that? Does the club think it's worth having him for that? I don't know. So, but if he's staying, then fair enough. I just don't know where he fits in. He'll be very, very low down the pecking order, especially coming back from an injury.
I think I would. Depending on where they see Nkunku, I think he'd be second choice striker. He'd be the backup striker.
I would say that too.
The thing for me with the Broja thing, and I think the thing with the Broja thing is if it's a case of they're selling Chalobah, and obviously depending on who else leaves, whether that be on loan or else, you may have to keep him just from a a registration perspective, from a homegrown perspective. That's the thing. Because that's the thing that they're doing a lot of, is they're getting rid of a lot of the homegrowns, which makes sense to an extent, obviously, because most of them are from Cobham, so you get the most profit. But you still need to have 8 homegrowns, unless you're going to have less than 25 men in the squad. Obviously, if you're going to have less than 25 men, then you obviously, if say you have 7 people, then it's
my days.
24 men. That's the thing. Is that in? That's Atlanta. That's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, big up, dude. That's awesome.
Hey, thanks, Alex, man. Much appreciated, bro.
Hey, just keep it there so we can watch the game later, okay?
Sick, man. I want to go to that stadium.
It's a good stadium. Yeah, I didn't know it was that big. That was huge.
I can't hear any of that.
If he's saying something, I cannot hear what he's saying.
You can't hear you, big man. You know, really, because you're on loudspeaker.
That's really loud. That's crazy, though. No, that's cool that you got to see. It looks like my seats were closer. So I guess the stadium I was in was smaller than this one. Does anyone know the capacity of the stadium? I don't remember.
Oh, that stadium's like 70,000 at least. 78,000.
Sheesh. That's insane, man. That's a big fucking stadium.
Like it's one of the biggest ones in MLS. I know that much.
It's air conditioned. Holy crap. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, that's a green. That's definitely a environmentally friendly stadium right there. Oh man, but no, that's really cool that he gets to see him. He gets to see Mykhailo Mudryk ball out. That was such a great moment to see. Oh man, but regardless, yeah, that's fucking awesome. That Alex is at the game, man. I'm jealous, man. Georgia's too far away from me, unfortunately. I can't do it. 92 of you guys watching right now, and we're not even at 50 likes. What's going on, guys? Smash that like button. Come on, let's get those likes up.
Get
let's
back converted than Havertz, bro.
Okay, well, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, fine. But
what's this bias of Havertz, man? He's not your player anymore, bro.
Let's go over to the next player I wanted to talk about. Ahmed, this is your wheelhouse because again, I don't know much about this guy, but here we have some news regarding this player, and I'll put Alex up here so you guys can watch the game. Anyways, understand, Chelsea are now in advanced talks to sign Elye Wahi. Agreement getting closer. New negotiations round scheduled with Montpellier. Chelsea plan includes loan move for Wahi this season, then CFC future. Chelsea want to accelerate next week as there's competition. Now, if I remember correctly, Wahi did not want the Strasbourg move, but we move. Chelsea have submitted a verbal offer worth 25 million euros for Elye Wahi. This is coming from Mohamed Terperis at Giffen. Then we move on to the next tweet here from Ryan Taylor Sport. Montpellier president Laurent Nicolon said on Wednesday of Chelsea's verbal bid to Elye Wahi, the amount proposed was not up to our expectations. Chelsea's offer was 21.5 million pounds, including add-ons, but Montpellier want closer to 30 million pounds. So looks like things are heating up with this guy, and it doesn't make sense to me for the player to go from Montpellier to a lower position club.
What are you talking about? They're both similar positions.
Are they?
Pretty much. Not really. They're both mid-table clubs.
Oh, I didn't. I thought that. Oh, well, never mind. Goes to show how much I know. I don't know anything. This is why this is your wheelhouse, bro. I don't know shit. I admitted it already before. It's Casually FC, and I'm the casual here. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm the opposite of a casual. I'm a savant. Come on.
You should have made your channel Savant FC then. Hey, Jesus Christ.
It didn't work. It didn't work, man. The joke didn't work. But seriously, listen, man, it didn't work for me. But from what is going on, Chelsea are probably gonna get an agreement done of this guy quite soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a 30 million package where it's 25 plus 5 or something like that to get it done. That's probably what Chelsea will do. Because knowing them, that's what they will do. They always get their French players that they like in a way. So that's Chelsea football club for you.
I fully don't understand this transfer. I'm gonna just say that now. I don't.
Bro,
understand.
it's literally they're just doing stockpiling, man. I said this before. They're literally doing the Oklahoma City Thunder situation where they were just stockpiling first round picks after first round picks of these top up and coming young talents, and they're literally forcing them into the Strasbourg, trying to see which ones come out on top, and the ones that come out on top will join the Chelsea squad, and the ones that flop are gonna get sold. It's literally just that squad. It's pretty much that, literally. No other way. Why is
Saka.
Saka there?
Disgraceful. What the fuck? That's perfect. That was amazing. All right, let's continue. Go ahead. What was
But
going to say
just
anything?
sorry, going back to that
Yeah.
this transfer. This transfer perfectly highlights the issue I have with these owners when it comes to what I said earlier with, or not even necessarily just the owners, but like the scouting system and the sporting directors, whatever, in terms of priorities.
Oh my god, guys! Lukaku needs. I've got some Lukaku needs.
Hang on, before you go, like
Okay, go finish.
like, when we're in a position, right? We still need a goalkeeper, by the way. Still need a goalkeeper. We potentially, depending on how the owners see it, need a centre back. We need at least one midfielder, potentially two if you include an attacking midfielder. We also want to sign another winger, and we're buying a £30 million player to go out on loan just to chill and do nothing. Like, these are the type of transfers you do, like at the end, towards the end of the window when you've completed your business.
Sure.
We haven't even started our business. Like, we've signed one position of need, and that was striker. And even then, up until the friendlies, people were saying we still needed a proper number 9. Like, make it make sense, please.
I'll see you
Yo,
guys later.
All right.
All right, bro. Have a nice one, Alex.
Later,
Take care.
Alex. Enjoy the game, man. Enjoy both the games. It's gonna be fun,
bro.
man.
Do you want to put
It's
up
got
what
air
I said? Do
conditioning.
you want to put up what I put up for you? What I'm sharing on my screen.
Yeah, I got you.
Don't increase the size. Was that okay for you?
200%.
125 usually fine. Trust me.
Yeah, there you go. That works too. You put it different
Lautaro
way,
Martinez, Lukaku saga. I was disappointed by Romelu. It's the truth. Excuse me. I tried to call him in those days of chaos, but he never answered me. The same he did. The same he did with my other teammates. I was disappointed, but okay, well, it's his choice. Told Gazette. So basically, he wasn't even listening to his best mate. Oh, you know, listen, Lautaro, I'm coming home. Lautaro, I'm coming home. You know what I'm saying? Now it's even pick it up, mate.
Lautaro,
Oh,
stay. I'll come soon. Stay at Inter. Fucking
That's
sexual
hilarious,
chocolate.
man.
God damn it, man. This guy's milking chocolate right
Listen,
now.
this is
Fucking
what
A.
Lukaku said 2 years ago. Yeah, what's it called? To Sky Sports. I miss Lautaro Martinez. I could die on the pitch for him. Is that what I meant? Lautaro come here, me at Chelsea in the future?
Emotional damage.
This is what you've done,
You can
Lukaku.
stay in Milan. I'll be there. Oh my god. Literally, guys, this is what the point I was making. He's blacklisted himself beyond belief, bro. Beyond belief.
Guy's a joke, man. This guy is actually a joke. Like, if I was a rival fan, I'd be laughing at the situation. But because I'm in this situation as a Chelsea supporter, this sucks, bro. This genuinely sucks. Oh, my days. But what are you going to do? Screw this guy, man. Lautaro, thanks for sharing your I hope oh, Lukaku probably doesn't give a shit, to be honest. Yeah, Lukaku did ruin himself pretty much. Yep. But let's go on to the next topic. This was good to hear today. Good news, finally. Badiashile returning very soon. Apparently he's ahead of schedule when it comes to his rehab. So let's go ahead and discuss this right now. Okay. There we go. All right, that was weird. Benoit Badiashile recovery from his hamstring injury is going faster than expected. He is currently ahead of schedule and is expected to return to individual training in the next week. And I saw a tweet somewhere else as well stating that he should be back by the 3rd game of the season. So that being said, hey, that's good. I think we need some depth right now because we don't know what's going to happen when Fofana's going to come back, if he's going to come back the same player. I think he's going to come back towards the end of the season. We all know that, but is he going to come back the same player? We don't know, and
Honestly,
we don't know what's happening with Chalobah's future.
I could probably see a set up a partnership of like Badiashile and Levi Cole, to be honest.
Okay. You're thinking Levi Cole on the right, or Badiashile on the right?
Whoever's more comfortable on that side.
But Ahmed, what about left-footed center back on the left and right-footed center back on the right?
It doesn't need to be that, bro. I swear John Terry was like left-footed, no?
He was right.
I know.
He
was
the
right
one.
footed.
Listen, I get that. I get that football is like nowadays it's a sport about like, you know, getting the best possible outcomes and the best possible preferences when it comes to like
Isn't Van Dijk also left foot? So is it Van? So
No, he's right-footed.
Right-footed. But this is the thing: is like a lot of times you'll have like because for us, Rudiger was right-footed playing as a left centre back and a back three because he felt comfortable with both feet. But it's also not just about being comfortable with both feet; it's about how you like feel comfortable in terms of defending. Because the way you position your body is obviously on the opposite side.
I didn't know this.
You feel comfortable. So like if one of these guys feels comfortable being right centre back, then 100% going forward. If they can play well together and they can work well, it should be Colwill and Badiashile, hopefully, because then you get Silva out of the team. Who, I'll be completely honest, I don't know did he play in the game against Wrexham?
Bro, he didn't play the game against Wrexham.
Bro, I'll be completely honest. That game that he played against Brighton, that was bad. He showed his age. In that game, he showed his age. That's the first game I've seen in a while of his where he really showed his age.
The midfield was overcompensating for him. Literally, they were playing deeper because of him. Quite literally.
I mean, you had maybe okay. It wasn't his best game. I don't know if it was bad.
He can't work in a back four, Marshall. Marshall, we need to. Let's not lie to ourselves. He cannot work in a back four anymore.
I also need to state this that it's not entirely on Silva that he looked shaky. Colwell also looked shaky, but I think a large part of it, and we did discuss this last week, is because the pivot wasn't effective when Gallagher's there. And that being said, also the amount of pressure that was put on the defense because Gallagher being that pivot could not maintain possession enough to relieve that pressure could be a factor as well. We'll see. I mean, obviously, it is preseason. It is worrying to see it, but I'm inclined to believe that we could solidify and Thiago Silva will be just fine. But you guys could be right as well. I'm not closed-minded to that. Like I know there is a limit to. For
me, it's more of a case of like I want us to move away from him, so we don't have to rely on him, and that probably means that you can play a back four, Badiashile and Colwill, because I think that as a back two. Like as a pairing could work, because especially with this Fofana thing, obviously he's going to be out to probably February around there. So that's most of the season, or at least a good half of the season. And when he comes back, we don't know how he's going to be when he comes back. Whether he's going to be fit straight away.
Or the same player, yeah.
So if those guys can come up with like a good partnership, if they can create a good partnership, that'd be fantastic. Because obviously, what's his face? Badiashile was solid before he got injured and dropped out the team.
Okay, gotcha. Ahmed's gonna go set up his stream and all that stuff, so we're probably gonna go and raid him later for the watch along. But I was gonna ask both of you actually. Do you reckon that part of the reason that we're trying to, because we've seen Poch kind of try to, and we don't look our best in this formation, but he's kind of tried to interpret a three in the back or tried to test out a three in the back in the two previous games. You think part of that is because of Silva or because of the players being used to that formation, or is he just trying to be versatile and see what works?
I don't think it's a three at the back. It's not a three at the back in like as it is. It's a three at the back in possession.
Yeah,
and like that happens normally, or like that happens normally. It is at some teams, and I think that's just how it is. I think it's just also I think it also helps with build up. It limits certain things and things like that. Maybe just be it down to personnel. Maybe it's what he wants to do moving forward. Like I don't know, but I think it's just in build up more than anything. It's not necessarily we're starting with a three at the back from the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go whether or not Silva's in the team, because at the end of the day, you have players like Cucurella who you want to come into that inverted position, whether it be as a centre back or as inverting into the midfield. For some players, it just works better, and like Scott said, that three at the back, a lot of the possession teams on the elite level nowadays want to play a 3-2-5 in possession. So that's what we were trying to do, and that's kind of like the meta at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's go ahead on to the next topic of discussion. Chalobah Out Guehi. I don't know where the R comes from, but whatever. Guehi In. But okay, let's discuss this. So Trevor Chalobah is viewed internally as another sellable asset at Chelsea. Liam Tui reporting. Also, the what is that? CFC Sam 360 or whatever his name is, the one that leaks the lineups. He also reported that Chalobah is not favored in the club for God knows what reason. I am not entirely sure, considering Fofana's out until early as February. And then we have this. Chelsea had contact with Mark Guehi 15 days ago, and still a lot of interest in him coming from Fabrizio Romano. I feel like this is a little backwards. I'm not gonna lie.
This is the most sideways move I've ever seen. Like, this is such a waste of time.
Yeah, it's what's that saying? 6 on one, half a dozen the other. It's literally like
this is such a waste of time. Like, if you're gonna sell Chalobah, which like I prefer him to stay for like that fifth or fourth choice centre back, but if you want to sell him, fair enough, right? If you're getting rid of him, you need to upgrade on him, and not upgrade a little bit, upgrade to the point where it makes sense. Upgrade to a point where like the guy you bring in is challenging for a first team spot.
Sure.
Because realistically, with Fofana injured, that's the position they're taking. This is such a sideways move for no reason. You're going to have to spend like 40, 50 mil on this on Guehi, which like, what's the point? What's the point?
And it's not only that as well. You actually want a right centre back, and this guy is a left centre back. So he's been playing for 2 years on the left of Crystal Palace's back four. So that could be a factor as well. When if he came to Chelsea and tried to play on the right, maybe he isn't so good initially, and that kills his start to his career here,
Also,
or his restart.
One of the things about his, or just on this, one of the things about Guehi is I like Guehi. I think he's good, but as has actually been pointed out in a couple of comments later, one of the things that we've had issue with when it comes to centre backs, and people question this when it came to the midfield as well, is in terms of winning headers and the height. Heading's his worst attribute.
Yeah.
So, if like this is what I don't understand. Again, I like Guehi, but I don't think he's that much of an upgrade on Chalobah. He might be a little bit of an upgrade on Chalobah. I don't think he's that much of an upgrade, and I don't think he's worth spending 50 or 40 mil, whatever he's going to cost on, to be a fourth choice centre back. Like, I don't think he's enough of an upgrade to justify spending that. If you're spending 40 or 50 mil on another centre back, go and get someone better, or go and get someone who's got that Gvardiol, Colwill level of like ceiling, which I don't think Guehi has. So go and get someone like obviously these guys might be slightly more expensive, and I'm just kind of spitballing names here, right? But go and get someone like Antonio Silva from Benfica. Like, he's meant to have like a huge ceiling, right? Or go and get someone like that. Obviously, Gvardiol will be way too expensive and things like that. It's just like it just doesn't make sense, man.
I would say, like, I think defensively, Guehi, however you say his name, everyone pronounces it so differently. I would say he's probably a better defender, but what he lacks in heading and versatility, Chalobah makes up for. And I think this is one of those deals that I really don't think it should get done or even entertained until after the preseason. So,
Marshall, sorry to interrupt. Do you know what's mad, actually? Because Matisse brought this up on Twitter. If you're going for a Crystal Palace centre-back, by the way, the guy he plays with is better than him.
Yeah. And more experience, too.
And because, by the way, he's not English, will be cheaper.
Yeah. Some of these things aren't making any sense to me. Like, this is the point of the transfer window now where I'm scratching my head because we don't have much movement going on Caicedo. This is also being entertained, like getting rid of Chalobah, which, I understand Chalobah's not like the best defender. He has, mistakes in him and stuff, which is expected at his age. What, he's 23, 24? Like, he's not too experienced.
He's 23, Chalobah.
23? Okay, so it's like, I get that. But then we have other transfer rumors like getting rid of Gallagher, but we don't have the midfield depth, which I understand getting rid of Gallagher. But the penny pinching on Gallagher also I don't get. So
I actually
the
understand
Olise stuff too. Yeah.
Again, I want Gallagher gone more than probably anyone else in the fan base right now.
Yeah,
but I also
I
understand the argument about if you get rid of Gallagher, you've got like 3 midfielders, and 2 of them have never played Premier League football before. One of them has never played like football in England before, which people could like. That is a thing you have to get used to because obviously, different country, different climate, everything.
Sure.
So like, you're going into next season with 3 midfielders potentially. So yeah, like as I said, that's as I said earlier with the point of with these owners of like the signings they are making can't fault the actual signings from a what they called from a talent perspective, but the priorities, man, is so messed up. The order in which we're getting things done is just wild. Just also, actually, another thought I had, by the way, on the centre back thing. If we get rid of Chalobah before getting a centre back, everyone and their nan is going to know we need a centre back. So the price of centre backs goes up like 10 mil.
Yeah.
Sign someone first, then get rid of him.
It's almost like we're like frantic right now because it's almost like we're on deadline day, but we're not. I don't know. Maybe it's because the market is scared.
We're not acting with that kind of urgency.
Oh, I can't wait for deadline day. Jeez, that's going to be unreal. We're going to sign about 5 players. Next thing you know, you're going to see Sterling's been sold to a Saudi club. You're going to see Kepa's been loaned out to some random club in Belgium. Like, we're going to have signed Robert Sanchez, or we're going to have signed some goalkeeper from the Argentinian second division. Bro, it's going to be nuts.
We'll get some Wash DM on loan again.
Oh my days. But on the topic that we're on right now, let's go on to the big one. This one's been moving a little mad, I'm not gonna lie. The Gallagher deal going on right now. Okay, so let's start from the beginning here. Chelsea continue to weigh up increased £80 million bid for Moises Caicedo. Conor Gallagher could leave to make room for Caicedo and the next generation of Chelsea midfielders, as Tottenham and West Ham are both interested in him. This was earlier in the week. Then later on, only a few days ago, this all popped off. Mauricio Pochettino admires Conor Gallagher, but he also accepts Chelsea's decision. Conor accepts his need to leave after not being offered a new contract and with only 2 years left on his current deal. Nazar Cancelo reporting. Breaking. Conor Gallagher is ready to leave Chelsea after being deemed surplus to requirements, with Tottenham and West Ham leading the fight for his signature. Chelsea value Conor Gallagher at around £35 million as he has 2 years left on his deal. It's a direct battle between Tottenham and West Ham for his signature, reporting Nazar Cancelo. Then we have West Ham submitted official bid to Conor Gallagher, proposal in the region of £40 million. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea have not sent official answer yet, as discussions will take place in the next days/hours. There were some conflicting reports on this, the initial bid. So then we have Gary Jacobs, Tom Allnut, West Ham United have bid £42 million plus $5 million in add-ons for Conor Gallagher, which is I would have ripped your arm off for that one. West Ham have had a verbal offer for Conor Gallagher, which has not yet been accepted or rejected at this stage. He is within the West Ham budget, and talks are due to happen. This is coming from the ex-West Ham employee, which we know is a reliable West Ham source. West Ham might walk away from the Conor Gallagher deal after their latest bid was rejected by Chelsea. Then we have, it is understood Tottenham is more likely destination for Conor Gallagher than West Ham, from Mike McGrath from Telefootball. Conor Gallagher isn't pushing to leave Chelsea and fits the age profile of Mauricio Pochettino's squad. Chelsea would ideally like a package worth £50 million for him. They value him highly, just not highly enough to keep him at Chelsea. That's coming from Liam Toomey at The Athletic. Pochettino saying, Gallagher is in our plans, and football things happen we can't manage, but I am happy with him. New midfielders, at least we need one more. We are working on that. Depends on what happens in the next few weeks. The club is working on that. And then the latest here, Conor Gallagher to West Ham is off, coming from the ex-West Ham employee. God damn it, man. I value Gallagher at 30 million. 45 plus 2 or 42 plus 5 or whatever near the mid 40 range deal that was being offered. I would have taken that in a heartbeat. Easily for this player. And I have not seen any news about Tottenham putting in a bid at all either. So If West Ham walked off and they wanted a bidding war, then they just fucked it up.
Well, Tottenham ain't going to bid that much, are they? Like, number one is Daniel
so.
Levy. Also, he doesn't start for them, I don't think, for me personally. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, but like, I'm not starting him above Maddison. I'm not starting him above Bentancur. I think Bentancur might be injured. But I'm not starting him above either of those. I'm not starting him above Højbjerg. I understand he was poor last season, but I'm not starting him over Bissouma. Especially in a
gonna leave.
Potentially, also they don't play the same position, but like,
Just doesn't fit their team. Postecoglou's the attacking possession man.
He does.
He's that no, but I think what I'm hearing from a load of Tottenham fans when I watch this showing that if you play a Bissouma, Gallagher, and what's his face, with number 10, Maddison in midfield. That's what they're thinking. Because Bentancur is injured and out till January. And Højbjerg is surplus to requirements, it seems. And the only other option is Oliver Skip. So,
but isn't Postecoglou high possession, and you're going to have that liability as part of your midfield three?
Also quite high pressing as well. So like, I can understand it from like a tactical place. I'm just looking at it from a talent perspective. I don't think he's better than like three other midfielders they've got.
Oh, of course not. No, we all agree on that.
But the thing we've just gone through is that he actually will fit because of the circumstances of the midfield. Yeah. Right now, with Bentancur out injured and Højbjerg likely to be sold, like I said, the only other the Bissouma is going to start. And the only other option is possibly I would start Sarr, but I don't think he will. Or Oliver Skip. Then I think he suits them to the team.
I genuinely forgot they had Sarr.
Yeah, the problem is you're dealing with Daniel Levy, right? So we know he loves a deadline deal, doesn't he? So you know what I mean?
Deadline day, mate.
It's one of those. I would just think it's when it comes to this.
I'll say that £40 million bid though, bro. Like that you're talking about a guy who showed bar one goal against Brighton and one goal against Palace, showed nothing last season and played the second most minutes in the whole squad. Like you're not.
The problem is
this is what I'm saying. This is what we said.
45 in January from Everton.
Potential. Was it 45 or was it 40?
It was 40.
It was 45. Everton offered 40 plus 5 million add-ons.
I don't understand. It's like just take it and run. Like I do understand the point as what I said earlier in terms of from a positional perspective, in terms of we don't have many midfielders, but it's not like it's been rejected for that. We just want more money, but it's like why? It does feel a little bit. It got mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew, just before you go, it got mentioned earlier. It does give me, I think, either on the stream or in the comments, it does feel me a little bit of vibes of like the previous regime. Like the kind of Batshuayi deal. They're trying to squeeze 5 million more out of Leeds for no reason. Like it kind of fills me a little bit with that.
I think that's the story of the summer when they're selling, right? There's not really been many that have walked away from a deal of being sold. Like look at the Mount thing, look at the Havertz thing, for example. Look at the Pulisic thing. They've been able to. I don't even think 50 is what I think. If West Ham had come back and given us 45, I think they would have taken it. I don't think the 50 thing is that they. If of course you're going to take 50, someone obviously, but I don't think they ever thought they were going to get 50. It's 40. I think if they came back with 45 or some type of package, obviously that 42 plus 5 thing was not true that they came back with. So anything like that, I think they would have like that. So
aren't we over FFP already?
We're over FFP,
bro. Do you know how many players we've sold and how much money we've made so far this window? Also, we haven't spent anything. We spent the grand total of about £40 million or £50 million because we bought Jackson and Angelo.
Yes.
But they're not even on this season's accounts, though. Wouldn't they have been on last season?
They're on this season's account. It's Nkunku and Gusto that aren't.
Yeah, and you got to bear in mind as well. I know obviously we sold all them players to Saudi Arabia, but that actually goes on this season's accounts because the Saudi their start date for trading was actually July the 4th. So that actually goes on this season's account because the money can't transfer.
But they've also come out. UEFA's also come out and said we haven't broken any FFP rules. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that
The thing, Oliver, the thing we were on about was the Premier League FFP rules, and I just wanted to come back quickly onto the point about why we're trying to squeeze an extra 5 million out for the Gallagher deal. At the end of the day, like we set a price for him. Everton set a price for him. Sorry, Everton set a price for him of £45 million, and we have every right to stick to that price. That's what the market has said. That's the value for Gallagher. Obviously, we know in reality maybe that might not be his value, but if they've set that value for him, and that's the value that people can't go away for him, simple as that. Really.
I also think that with this story, the Chalobah story and the Kepa story within the last 24 hours, I think Poch is okay working with them, but about that either. But you would if these stories weren't true that we're okay with selling, is okay with selling them, they'd be shut down immediately. They'd be shut down. That's what it is. We're still, we haven't come out and said. He's come out and said, even himself, he's come out and said, yeah, I'd like to use him, but football's football, isn't it? Whatever he said, abbreviated to that. But it's no secret. If something comes in for Gallagher, we're not like anchored to him, but we're so desperate to hang on to him. It's proven.
What some of you guys in chat, I wonder if you actually watch Chelsea and you actually know what's happening. Like, you got comments like these and then comments like these, like, have you not been impressed by Nkuku so far? Have you not realized that we had a manager in Graham Potter and Lampard last season? Have you not rated Badiashile so far? Have you not rated Enzo so far? Mudryk had a whole not season, and now he's finally getting up to scruff and might show up. Were you not impressed by Nani Madueke last season? Like, what's going on with you guys? Like,
I don't think for me, everyone's entitled to their own.
Yeah, of course.
And listen, man, we'll listen. The fruits of their labor. We'll see that hopefully in this season, and then everyone will have a change of perspective. Thinking about how much.
Lukaku been here 5 minutes and scored 2 goals. That's more than what you wanted to keep Havertz and Mount and all the.
Okay. Then you can't say it's £650 million mediocre. Some of these players have been. So what we doing here? It's a trade-off, right? Right? It's a trade-off. Mudryk has only
we had
started
shit managers, Mike. The players we signed for us from 7 to 12, they're shit managers. We had Potter.
Also,
and
I'd
they weren't
argue, by the
playing.
way,
We had Havertz and Mount constantly starting.
Hang on, Marshall. I'd argue, by the way, 2 of the guys we signed with that 600 mil, if you want to say it's 600 mil, which it isn't, by the way.
Sure.
That's if you're going to put like the highest fees for all of them, which again, that includes add-ons and whatever, right? But I'd argue that 2 of those 3 players we signed in January that are included in that 600 million were in our top 3 best players of the season. That's how bad our season was.
And even this, DHL. Even if I give you this, Cucurella, Sterling, and Koulibaly, Jesus Christ. Even if you want to say those are the shit signings, that's like what, maybe a quarter of the signings that we made? Not even, maybe an eighth of them. Like, then that means the rest of them are decent, right? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Thank you for being on the channel and watching. And I hope you fucking smash the like button, you fucking cheap fucks. You ungrateful assholes. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, Metal Face Doom, the owners were not picking the lineup. Stop pulling that bullshit, man. I really hate that. Picking the lineup. Exactly.
If they were picking the lineups, why did Aubameyang start against Arsenal?
Yeah, exactly.
Blockbuster pay-per-view lineup right there, man. Probably more about the signings that are not actually shit.
Such an idiotic comment, that.
It is what it is. But hey, you guys are welcome here. It's okay. We appreciate it. It gives us content and something to discuss. The other thing I want to discuss before we move on to the bigger topic here is on closing with the Gallagher thing. I think we should have just taken that deal, but at the same time, it goes back to what Scott was saying. I think we're just doing everything like so out of order. If we were going to sell Gallagher, we probably should have signed a midfielder already to replace him.
Well, see,
now,
this is
now
where
if we sell him now the market knows that we need a midfielder, you know?
Well, the market already knows we need a midfielder, so it doesn't matter. It already knows we need a midfielder. Plus, there's no set order to do things. Okay, Caicedo was our only genuine target this summer. The rest were just, and Nkunku was already wrapped up last September. Opportunistic signings. Caicedo was the only legitimate transfer target we had. So, it's just one of those things. There's no real set order to do them if you're, on one hand, negotiating with someone who wants 100 million, but you're then coming out on your side saying we're only going to pay 80. How does that work? And what are we supposed to do then? Stop everything until Caicedo's done? You can't do that. We can't do that. The thing about it is now everyone's panicking. Everyone's panicking. We need Poch to look at this squad, right? And the stories coming out now would indicate that Poch has looked at Chalobah, Gallagher, and Kepa and gone, I need better. So it's just
Andrew, that's
one
100%.
It's one of those things.
That's 100% fair for me. Like with that though, for like the last bit of that, it's more of a case of like that's fair, but then you probably need to replace those guys in the squad. And apart from Kepa, for the other two, it looks as though we're selling them before getting the replacements in, which means you're going to have to pay more because then the clubs that you're selling, or sorry, trying to buy from already know you're desperate, especially in that midfield position. You're already desperate. You probably need two midfielders. And then the goalkeeper situation and the centre-back situation, I'll be real, the targets we're looking at, I gave them the benefit of the doubt with like most targets. We haven't talked about the goalkeeper targets in Broja. Those are piss poor if those are our options, especially when we pulled out of the Maignan deal because of price. Regardless whether he wanted to join or not, by the way, we pulled out because of price, not because he didn't want to join, but because of price. And now we're going back in for David Raya, who's going to cost us 40 mil. For Robert Sanchez, who's Brighton's third choice goalkeeper, and for Emi Martinez, who I like, but has his problems in terms of on the ball. Like,
of those three that you mentioned, Emi Martinez is probably the best one.
Oh,
even that's not like,
two, by the
he's
way.
not the long one,
He is clear of the other two by a mile, and even he has his issues. But like it's just.
But it's not.
That doesn't make sense.
But someone's putting up. It's not a scattergun approach. We're going for Kudus, right? And we're linked to Guehi and possibly another goalkeeper. It's not a scattergun approach. I don't get it. It's a scattergun approach would be just signing everyone inside like we did for the previous two windows. So it's not a scattergun approach. If it's a scattergun approach, we'll be loading everything up. It's just I don't know. And also, our squad is weaker as it is now. But I'll say again, and it might hurt us. The window is not open. I prefer everyone to be signed right now, of course. But it's like let me just if Caicedo was signed, if Caicedo was signed right now, hardly anyone would be complaining about this transfer window. It's just to do with Caicedo. If Caicedo was in 24 hours, Caicedo deal was done, no one would be complaining. That's all it is. It's to do with one midfielder.
But you guys here in the chat, like, okay, our team is weaker. Haven't you been more impressed with the team and how it's been playing in the last two preseason games that you have all of last season? So then, have we gotten weaker?
How is it?
I don't know.
Tell me how it's a scattergun approach as well. When we actually know our target, how is it a scattergun approach?
Well, we know the positions we need. That's the other thing too. So,
but the problem is, you say you need to play the money, but then you complain about us spending £600 million. So what is it? You want us to play the money? Which one do you want to do? Because you can't complain on one hand that you spend 650 million or whatever it is, and then say pay the money. We know one target. That was the main target. But that was the main target.
Literally just contradicted yourselves.
Yeah, that's
you guys literally just contradicted yourselves. Congratulations, you got played.
Let's have it right.
Yeah, if that's the thing I don't understand from Chelsea fans in terms of you can't complain about money being spent and then also then complain that
second choice and all this shit.
Yeah, that we aren't there, or complain about the money being spent, but then complain we're not just paying the money for a player. Like, that's the thing. If you believe we shouldn't overspend, full stop, then you should be fine with us pulling out. Same way if you want us to buy Caicedo no matter what,
almost
money then you can't moan about how much money we spend.
You know what? You can though, but then you'll sound like this guy.
I say you can. You just sound like a hypocrite.
All right, let's touch on this one real quick because I think this one was overlooked for a little bit, but I feel like we should discuss this slightly at least. So just touch upon it, and then we'll get to the big topic. Hutchinson.
They do love complaining.
Hutchinson, here we go. Hutchinson, here we go. It's done. Ipswich Town completed the agreement with Chelsea to sign Omari Hutchinson on a loan deal. Here we go. Season-long deal agree. Medical in the next hours, then announcement. This is all done. This was last week, but he got his loan. And hey, I hope this player develops. From what I saw when he played under Potter, right? Yeah, he played under Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too impressed, but I think there's a lot of rawness there. There's a lot of development that needs to be done, and also I think his physical attributes need to go up as well. I think for his size, because he's a relatively small character. I don't know what size is he. What's his height? He's a small guy.
To be fair, he played well in the one game I saw of him. It was that.
Yeah, he had one decent game. Yeah.
During the what's it called? I think it was during the break.
Oh my God, he's taller than me. He's 5'9". Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, this makes sense. Obviously, we tried to loan him out last season to West Brom, and that all fell through because of the whole nonsense that was going on with trying to get rid of players in January. But this will be a good move for him. I'm glad he's going out on loan and getting some game time.
Yeah.
Don't know how well. Yeah, I don't know how well Ipswich are going to do. Obviously, we should start quite a few games for them. I don't know how well they're going to do. Hopefully, they do decent. Hopefully, he just gets a good amount of game time and plays well. Obviously, he's going to be coming back to a stacked position next summer because we're going to have about 7 right wingers. So that's going to be.
This guy has got. I'm sorry, unless it's something extraordinary happens at this moment in time, being the 26th of July. Well, actually 27th now in England, but I think this guy's got like 2 years of loans and then out.
Probably.
Maybe.
I don't really understand the point of doing that. Like, I understand it can get money in,
huge.
But I don't quite understand the point, especially considering when we signed him, he was one of the highest rated wingers coming from the youth system in England. From Arsenal's academy, but just
that's not him. That's not him. That can't be him. I don't think so. And if it is, big up minerals.
Don't give a fuck. Either way,
it's not him. He's blocked me. He wouldn't show up on my YouTube.
It's not him.
Yeah, he wouldn't show up on my YouTube.
I've gone to the channel. It's not him.
Big up though.
But to be fair, I probably do agree with Andrew in terms that he probably won't be here after 2-3 years.
We'll see.
Actually, as I said, with how many wingers we're signing, as I said, we have 7 right wingers, I think, or 6 right wingers. No, I think he will make his 7 as of next season.
Wasn't Omari like a really highly prospected talent in England?
It was,
wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I think
he was.
There is
I
a
think
player there.
He was one of Arsenal's best academy graduates.
Yeah.
But you compare that to.
Depending on how high you rate Arsenal's academy is one thing, but from their academy, he was one of their highest.
Well, so that answers your question, man. That's what I was trying to get at with this comment right here. Is he even that good? He was really high prospect.
The thing is that you got to look at it. You got to look at it. You got to compare it to some of the young players we've got. Like, I mean, the standouts right now are Madueke, who's had first team experience at PSV, sorry, and then you've got Angelo Gabriel, who he's been in the. Before he came to Chelsea, he was in the Santos first team squad for 4 seasons. So he would have.
He has played like 170 first team men's appearances.
Yeah. So these are.
We signed Moreira as well from Benfica.
Yep.
So.
I mean, Moreira is.
Add Olise and Kudus.
I was going to say, Andrew, this is what I'm saying. You've got Sterling. Depending what happens with him, you've got Moreira, Angelo, Madueke, Olise. Kudus, who I think's better as a winger than a 10, and then Hutchinson. That's 7 right wingers for one spot.
Let's actually get into this topic right now, because I really want to get into this one. So let's talk
right in emergency.
Let's bring these tweets up. So there's a bunch that just happened in recent days. So we have Kudus, Olise, or Cherki. That's the next topic. Okay. First things first, to clear things up. Chelsea will send Angelo Gabriel on loan to newly purchased French club Strasbourg after the conclusion of Chelsea's preseason tour. People were losing their heads about this. big profiles as well, saying, why are we doing this? Let's at least wait till the preseason's over to decide on this. People have been so obsessed over Angelo and how impressed he's been and all that. Listen, I get it, but I think even he agreed when he signed to Chelsea that he was going to go on loan for a season over to Strasbourg before he actually joined Chelsea. So this was an agreement that the player made as well. So this was always a part of the plan. It's not like a harsh decision. It's not like they decided, oh, he's not good enough. And then no. I think he is a very good player. We've seen it already. We're going to see him play. He's going to get used to playing with Chelsea, get the, the module, understand how the players, get to know the players, get to know the team, the squad, and then come back when he's more prepared. But this is always in the plans. So people freaking out about Angelo going, I understand, but also it's not like this wasn't planned out already. This is, I think we even reported earlier on that before he even came to the club, the idea is to send him out to Strasbourg after preseason. But we move. Going on. This is the latest we have on Cherki. Not much. It's gone quite quiet, actually. But Chelsea are still interested in Ryan Cherki, but they want to complete the Moises Caicedo deal first before making any moves. Officials at Chelsea believe Cherki has all the ingredients to develop into a world-class player one day. This is coming from Bobby Vincent as of 4 days ago. Continuing forward, we have Kudus news here. So, exclusive from David Orsi. Chelsea made contact with Ajax Express. Go ahead.
So can I just Jacob, if you could put the starting 11 for me, please, in the chat. Sorry, continue.
Please and thank you. Yes, go ahead and do that for us. I would appreciate it. I'll pull that up in the chat as well. Anyways, so moving forward with Kudus, Chelsea have made contact with Ajax to express interest in signing Mohamed Kudus. No offer yet, but dialogue has taken place. 22-year-old attacking midfielder among options Chelsea considering, plus agreement close on personal terms. Kudus has communicated his desire to leave Ajax to the manager and club management, according to the Telegraph. Then we go forward. According to David Ornstein, Chelsea are weighing up a move for 22-year-old Mohamed Kudus. He is also a potential target for Manchester United as an alternative to Rasmus Højlund. Then, Miguel Delaney. Chelsea are leading the race for Ajax and Mohamed Kudus, having so far put together a more convincing package than Arsenal. The Ghana international could go for around £40 million. I think that's also the same price that we were priced out for Cherki. So then Michael Olise news pops out. So Chelsea and Manchester City have both Michael Olise in their list. Understand there's a release clause into his contract around £35 million. Both clubs are waiting for clarity about his condition as he picked up an injury last month. It's coming from Fabrizio Romano. More from Adrian J. Kajumba. Mauricio Pochettino is a big admirer of Michael Olise and has already spoken to him, with Olise having agreed to join Chelsea if a deal can be reached. Chelsea have made an offer to Crystal Palace to sign Michael Olise, offer less than 45 million euros, including bonuses. The player is seduced by the Blues project. In principle, he agrees to go to Chelsea even if there are always negotiations. I think that was just
Night, Mitchie boy.
And that's all I got for you guys. But yeah, this has led to an onslaught of explosion on Twitter about what we're doing with Angelo. Why are we linked with so many left wing backs? Right wingers. I'm sorry, I should say. And why? It doesn't make sense. It does make sense to a certain extent to me. I mean, we are going to need a right winger to compete with Madueke. Considering that Ziyech isn't probably going to be here, and the idea was to always loan out Angelo. I don't think Moreira is going to be at the first team either. I think he's going to get loaned out as well. And then our targets here, Cherki, Kudus, Olise. Any preferences? I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of seduced by the idea of Cherki. I've seen him play as a 10. He's got that versatility in him. Right wing as well. I think there's some games you can see him play as a left wing. I think he's got the versatility, and I think that's good for us. I think he's a very, very top talent. I have seen Olise play. To be honest, I'm not opposed to either of these around the same price, 40 million as well. I have seen Olise play. He's very talented as well. And Kudus, I can't speak much on, but you guys vouch for him, and many people have vouched for him. So what do you guys think?
I think
I really like Kudus. I really like Kudus in terms of, and by the way, he's doing the right thing, stuff like that. So he knows he wants to leave. But I do like his. I said it to Ahmed earlier on his channel. He's PMP with actual techers and talent. Do you know what I mean? He's got the whole thing. He's got the whole package, really. It needs to just be shaped and developed a bit more. Like I said, I saw him play very well in the Champions League, Eredivisie, and the World Cup against different opposition. He can play on the right. Sorry, he can play in the middle, and he can play on the right as well. Cover both positions. This whole scenario, though, I don't know if we're going to get both Olise and Kudus. I think it's one or the other.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The terminology that Chelsea are weighing up, it's like, well, why would you bother weighing up an offer if you're already trying to agree the personal details with the player, first of all? You obviously like the player. So, and it's 40 million. I think 40 million in this market is a steal for someone like Kudus.
That's a steal, yeah.
You want to talk about like paying like, you want to pay like 100 million for Caicedo, and I'm fine with that, whatever. But 40 million for Kudus at this time is something I would be happy with. Now, if they sign Olise as well, I'll be fine with that as well. Olise is a very good player. I was on Lewis's stream yesterday, and some people were saying that him and Madueke are on the same level. They're not whatsoever. Olise is superior. Olise, all right, he didn't score a lot of goals last season, but he got 11 assists at Crystal Palace. 11 assists at Crystal Palace when Zaha
Crystal Palace don't even have a freaking striker.
Season. Yeah, exactly. So 11 assists for him is yeah, exactly. They don't have a striker.
You have a striker, man. Who, Ayu? You rate Ayu, man?
Edward, man, Edward.
No Sterling Madueke on the bench, but I'd be fine with either. I really would. But Kudus for me comes out on top because I think he can offer at this moment a bit more in terms of a goal scoring threat. But that's not to say that at a club he might develop that as well. But Olise to me is what some Chelsea fans think Ziyech is. Olise is actually someone who can deliver something, and actually pose a threat. So, you know, not only to oppositions, but Ziyech only poses a threat to ball boys when he boots the ball out, like he usually does. But anyway, for me, if it's a choice between the two, I'd go for Kudus. I really do.
Scott, what do you think? Because you were a huge advocate for Cherki. I think now we have these two other names come up.
I think of the three, he's got the highest ceiling, but and also think of the three, he's best as the 10. Depending on what they're wanting to do with that. Yeah, I'm coming around more to the idea of getting Olise or getting a backup winger. With the Angelo thing, and obviously depending on what they're going to do with Sterling. Bear with me. So obviously with that, I'm happy with any of them, to be honest. I do think getting Kudus and Olise is a little bit of a waste, just because, as I said, I think they're both wingers. I think they both work better as wingers. Obviously, Kudus can play the 10, but I think he's just better as a winger, at least from speaking to others. I've watched a lot more of him than I have. Excuse me. Bear with me 1 second.
Take your time, man.
Right, cool.
Scott, can I ask you a question? I'm going to pose this to you because I did it on Ahmed's channel earlier. Say the preseason goes and the first few games and Sterling doesn't show up for, right? Say if you purchase Kudus and Olise, is there any possibility if Sterling doesn't start well that he becomes a deadline day sale?
Oh, that's probably, but
that'd be kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but
I'm not opposed to it, especially after seeing the performance either. Yeah, depending on the performances of Madueke going forward, I need to see if what he's looking like under Poch, and obviously Olise or Kudus, I imagine, will be good. What I will say is, right,
even if Mudryk is balling out and linking well with Jackson, right, something like that, and Sterling isn't.
True, but I can't lie to you. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying, can you see something like that? Potentially. The thing for me with the Mudryk thing is more of like, are you saying When you say Mudryk, are you saying him from on the left perspective? Because I thought you meant like from the right.
Sterling, I know Sterling's right-footed, but for predominantly most of his career, he's played off the left, right? Even for for City, for England, stuff like that. What I'm saying is, if you've got the right and in the middle options of Kudus, Olise, and Madueke, you're not really going to put Sterling over there, right? What I'm saying is that if he in pre-season doesn't show up here, and then the first few games he's stinking out the joint, and we've bought Olise and Kudus, and Mudryk is playing well and stuff. I'm just putting it out there. I can see a situation where we get an offer from Saudi or something like that, where they offer like 45 million, which would actually be a profit even after a year, because bought him 50, and they take his 300k off the wages that they got. The board will look into something like that.
Potentially.
I'm just putting it out there. I think there's potential for it. I don't want it, but it's a potential.
No, especially as I said, like if Poch can get Madueke and potentially whatever right wing we get playing, like Angelo was playing in that second half against Brighton, I'm more than happy for Sterling to go, because it's the same situation as Koulibaly last season. The reason I was so happy to let him go and not give him time is because the guys who are younger than him were performing way better than he was, and obviously that's not their ceiling, but their scope to improve is something more than his was, because he was on the down, like he was on sort of going downhill. What I was going to say with those three is, of the three, Cherki is the hardest to get, which makes sense why we're going for the other two more than him, because all reports, they see Cherki as the guy to build their team around, like in terms of attack. And it's the other attacking pieces, like they've got a couple of guys, like there's a guy called Barcola, I think it is, who PSG are interested in, who they might be selling. They see him as more sellable to raise funds, and like Lukaku, who's a centre-back for them, as more easier to sell to raise funds rather than Cherki. So whereas with the other two guys, obviously with Olise, you've got the release clause, so that's just a piece of piss, can offer that. And that could be one where they just offer the release clause, because it's not even that much in the grand scheme of things. And then with the Kudus thing, obviously, it sounds like it's going to be 40 mil, which seems quite easy. Obviously, I wouldn't say he's a massively important piece for Ajax. Obviously, they are losing a lot of players, especially like attacking pieces.
Right.
But that's nothing they're not used to, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but they can replace him and whatnot, like a little bit easier with other pieces.
I just think for everyone's obviously some Chelsea fans are concerned about the money we're spending, but 40 million for 2 years old, got the experience of the Champions League and playing in the World Cup at 22. I think there's, like I said, he's PMP with talent. You know what I mean? He's got the talent there and a goal scoring threat as well. And it's an option where, like I said earlier, he could play sort of in the 10, and you could play behind Jackson or an Nkunku, depending on the game and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's actually more of an attacking option in that way. But I just see things sort of died down in the last 24 hours. It's more on a Kudus thing that's popped up, in terms of more details about it. I just think it's more credible, because the Cherki stuff has sort of died a lot over the last couple of weeks. Do you know what I mean? I always thought that was more of like an opinion piece that's been manifested into a link more than an actual thing about it. And also, go on.
I would say as well, the thing for me is with this signing is it depends what they're looking for. Because if they're looking for someone who can comfortably play two positions, in terms of number 10, be a backup for two positions or a starter for number 10 or wing, for me, Kudus is the best option, because he has experience playing both. Then, if I'm ranking him right and I'm looking at versatility, I'm going Kudus, Cherki, Olise. If they're looking for a straight up winger, like either a starter or a backup winger on the right, because they don't trust Sterling and they don't trust Madueke's fitness,
Olise's probably your best option.
I was going to say, then you're looking at either Olise or Kudus, because I think Cherki's better as a 10. So it kind of depends on what they're looking for.
That.
Like what works best depends on what they're looking for, if that makes sense. Because if they're looking for someone to be versatile, who can also start as a winger, that's Kudus, because I think he's more versatile than Olise and Cherki, because he's played in more positions for a longer period of time. So it all depends on what they're looking for. Because as I said, if they're just looking for an out-and-out winger, then Olise might be the best option. But based on what we're seeing, where it's like they're looking for a bit more, then Kudus probably makes more sense going forward.
So,
Ahmed, talk to me,
wanna...
bro. What do you think about these options and
Indeed.
everything that's been said as well? Because I agree with Scott. I think the best move, I say Cherki because the ability for him to play as a 10, and with the striker situation right now, we're very skim in that department. We don't know how Broja is going to come back. Even if Broja does come back, it looks like if Jackson were to go, it's going to be Nkunku is playing striker. You know, if Jackson were to go as in like an injury, is what I mean.
So, in my opinion, we're probably going to get 2 of them. I think that's
okay.
the likely scenario. I think Angelo is going to Strasbourg. Morero is probably going to, from what I'm hearing, is probably going to go to under 21 to develop. That's the plan for him.
Yeah.
We've then left with Madueke, who needs a backup. From what we've been seeing from Sterling and the fact that he's actually been dropped as well today.
Yeah, we'll talk about the lineup once we're done with this discussion. I have it ready.
And the fact also that we need to also consider the fact that it's now 3 games in a row.
I don't think you can say dropped. It's a pre-season game.
Oh, fair enough. All right, big man.
Yeah.
But the fact, I want to say that the fact that Maatsen has now for the last 3 games in a row has been tested. As
that's something we need to address. He's not a left back this season. He's not a left back going forward. Because I'm sorry, that's if you see him as a left back and you've spent the entire preseason playing as a left winger, I think that's a bit stupid. Personally, he's a winger. He's seen as a winger going forward. I think that's what is happening.
I think for me now, you're seeing. I think from what we're seeing now, Pochettino sees him as a winger, and the fact that he's getting played a lot more, at least indicates to me to some extent that it's looking like Sterling is on the lower packing order. Maybe it's just me, but that's just a screw up for that. Like getting Olise, getting Olise probably is like a good thing. Pochettino is looking for experience on some level in the Premier League. Olise's got 2 years worth of Premier League experience, has 11 assists.
I do like that about him, yeah.
And he's also got 11 assists from last season as well, which is something that we desperately need. Obviously, you want to be able to facilitate the striker as much as possible, such as Jackson, and, help to facilitate Nkunku as well. So I think, he's able to do that. He's also a very good free kick taker as well. He scored against United with that free kick, if you remember, in the last minute at home at Selhurst Park. So you've got him there. Kudus is another one where I really like him. He's very much a goal scoring threat, I would argue, Kudus. And he's very good on the right, very good in the middle. He's got a bags of experience as well, not just in Ajax, but also in European football. He's playing in the Champions League, he's playing in the Europa League as well. So at the end of the day, I think those 2 are fine to bring in. Cherki is a great player. I would love Cherki. He would probably be my number 1 option. But I think the reality of the situation with Cherki is you're probably not going to be able to get him out of the season. That's what I think is happening to me. They want to keep 1 more season, maybe to increase his value, and then you're probably looking at trying to bring him out next season, in my opinion.
Do you know, I think on the Kudus thing as well, do you know, I think bringing him in, because you're right, in terms of the 3, he's the best goal scorer. And do you know, I think bringing him alleviates, because a lot of people are what I've seen are worried about, are you going to score enough goals with just Nkunku and Jackson? If you bring in Kudus in, you alleviate that a bit, because that's a 3rd guy you've got who could be a consistent goal scorer for you.
Exactly.
Where you look at like Mudryk, I don't know whether he's going to be that. Madueke doesn't strike me as going to be a consistent goal scorer from wide areas. None of our other midfielders, apart from Gallagher, looks like they're going to be offering too many goals. So you've got to look at where other goals can come from. So you're probably looking at Jackson and Nkunku, and then Kudus would be the next guy of he can offer you consistent goals, maybe get double figures. Maybe you're looking at obviously in all comps, maybe 10 or something, maybe 11 goals, something like that across the season.
Okay. That being said,
I'm gonna have to head out.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to head out.
We're gonna go ahead and raid you.
My stream starts in 10 minutes. But listen, guys, it's all been love. Hopefully, you appreciate me on the channel. Make sure to like and subscribe, Marshall. He's obviously got to 2K, road to 3K, and make sure to subscribe and like for him as well. That's what I'll say. And you can catch me on Marshall.
See you soon, brother.
See you soon, brother.
Up yours.
Have a nice one, guys. Up yours team, man. Up yours team, man. Such a hater. You know what I'm saying? Love guys. Have a nice
we got to be humble, bro.
Listen, I'm always humble. You know what I'm saying? Always humble.
I don't know about that. All right. Have a good one, Ahmed.
Did you want to, before we leave, do you want to go through the lineup?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, cool.
Let's go ahead and check out this lineup. Chelsea have already announced it. We have a lineup starting with Kepa in goal. I'm kind of surprised by that. Okay. James, Chalobah, Humphreys, Cucurella, Caicedo, Enzo, Mudryk, Nkunku, Maatsen, and Jackson. I'm surprised by the Kepa one because we have 4 keepers. I figured that they would all... 5? Oh shit!
We have 5, and 3 of them.
Each of them would play one game.
3 of them are yet to play a single minute of preseason.
Yeah, I thought at least Slonina would have gotten a minute or something. But okay,
Bro,
I think Patch really wants to win this game.
Well, I
don't think Martinez going to get any minutes. He's just a third choice. It doesn't matter.
Well, not even.
No,
Andrew,
Slonina would get some minutes.
5 goalkeepers. We took Kepa, Slonina, Bettinelli, that Bergstrom kid, and then there's some 18-year-old we took as well. Yeah. Like, why?
Bergstrom. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
the only weird one to me in that whole team. Well, there's 2 things. Number one is Mudryk right wing.
Sure.
Is he right?
Yeah, he's on the right.
Oh yeah, Matson's on the left. Yeah, and Kuku's a 10. Jackson, Enzo, Caicedo is a double pivot.
But he's not playing with the right wing, left wing mostly. The only other weird one for me, and that's just because the news we've heard, and if what we've heard is true, I don't understand why Chalobah's playing. Because if that,
it could be just the club, not Poch. You know.
Yeah, but even so, surely from just a common sense perspective, it just makes sense that if he's not seen as someone, if he's seen as a sellable asset, someone you're looking to sell, I wouldn't bother playing him. Chalobah.
Or maybe I don't.
It just makes me question whether it is true about whether they see him as a sellable asset or whether they're looking to sell him or not. I should say. Well,
it all depends also if he's going to. Is he going to do a full 90 or anything? I wouldn't think so. Maybe you bring Colwell on at half time or Thiago start. I think it's just a case of bodies essentially. I mean, he didn't play a lot. Did he play a half or was it less than a half?
No, he played a half. He came on for Silver at half time.
Right.
Chalobah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so, if I remember correctly.
I am looking forward to, though, the Jackson and Nkunku link up finally. Seeing them in their actual positions.
Jackson and Nkunku and Mudryk, to be fair. Because Maatsen did play last game, but I think the midfield.
I'm looking at the Caicedo kid. Because when he came in against Brighton and they moved Gallagher forward, he showed so much composure and better passing than Gallagher did. Which isn't hard, by the way. But it still showed a level of, intelligence and
really hit Gallagher.
It's going to be.
I'd like to see.
Andrew, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
When Caicedo came on, even though Gallagher pushed up high, he was still high as well. They were playing like a 4-1-4-1, so he wasn't playing deep. He was still playing almost. I thought originally he was he was kind of a 10, so he was still playing quite high. So it's going to be interesting in this game seeing him deeper. Playing him next to Enzo.
His passing is very crisp at that age. It's very confident and stuff like that. He's a gem. And if we're not getting another midfielder after if we sign Caicedo or another defensive midfielder, I don't want to loan him to a championship club.
We've already done that.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to loan to if he's not going to stay loaned to a Premier League club.
That's the thing.
Keep him.
I think he's at that level.
That's the thing. Your choices for loans are either a top of the table Premier League, Championship team, which means it's probably going to be a team that's just got relegated. Which you could do, but I just personally don't see the point. Really. Yeah. Or you're looking at a Premier League team, and it's you get to a point where if you're looking at loaning him to any team above sort of a certain level. So once you get into you're talking about the Brightons or the Villas, he probably wouldn't start for their midfield, but that sort of level, you're we might as well keep him and play him ourselves. You either have to send him to
how tall he was as well. He's very tall.
Yeah, you have to send him to a bottom half of the table team, and at that point, is he going to start all the time? If they get into a relegation scrap, does he start getting dropped unless he's playing? You just keep him and play him. Honestly, just same with Santos. With these guys, if you believe in their ability, which I do, and obviously the club does, you might as well just keep him and play him. Give him the opportunities next season. Give him 20 minutes against Liverpool if we're up. Give him 30 minutes or a half against Nottingham Forest when we play then or whatever. You know? Play him against the
Luton. Loping away to Luton.
Yeah.
But the thing is too, like, as much as I want to like keep Angelo, I want to keep Santos, Caicedo, Maatsen. I feel like, well, it also depends on the signings, right? We're definitely not done with this window. I feel like there are going to be more signings, hopefully. There can only be room for so many of these guys. We might have to make some tough decisions here.
I think you don't think so? But what this does is this limits you needing to spend on certain areas. There's no reason. This is what we were saying earlier about Lavia. There's no reason going to spending 50 mil on a Lavia when in a year's time, with the right and the right game time, Santos and Caicedo, both of them can be in the same position. Then you've saved 50 mil, or you've used that 50 mil on a more key position like goalkeeper or another centre back, or like you go and use that money to go and just bridge the gap for Caicedo.
Sure.
Like you just go and use that money in smarter places. So we're not spending another 100 mil on players. You're just spending 50 mil on players because you've already got that play. You're being smart with your money. Look, that's what City have done in certain positions. Look at what City have done this season with Rico Lewis. Like instead of needing to go in, like they were able to get rid of Cancelo, and they're in a position where they might be able to get rid of Walker because they know they've got a suitable backup who they gave game time to last season, showed that he could hang in multiple positions, by the way, because he also played midfield. And they know that, cool, that's a position where we don't have to go and spend big on. So what we can now do is go and spend massive on Gvardiol.
Well,
that's the whole point. The whole point is...
Yeah, but
that's the whole point. Is
the Gvardiol hypothetical? Because
he's not
actually here. We go.
No,
because the whole
no. I think
Scott.
I don't think Scott. I think Scott means a player like Gvardiol.
I know they're interested in him.
Like, not Gvardiol himself, but that's
okay.
What I mean.
I thought he meant Gvardiol himself.
Finding gems, like doing the scouting ourselves, so we don't have to keep paying £100 million for other clubs' players. Finding them ourselves, building them up into our own players, and then when the absolute ones that we couldn't scout or get that are available, or the absolute superstars, that's what we put all our money into. Do you know what I mean? Because we've already got if we sign Caicedo, I want us to look for our own Caicedo. Do you know what I mean? Like that. That's the example I want. I don't want to let someone else get the next Caicedo or whatever, and then have to pay and go after them. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Man City are probably going to sign Gvardiol. Let's try and find another Gvardiol if we need to, which we probably don't because we've got Badiashile and Goldwell. Yeah, so that's the type.
We keep saying as well we want to do that, but you have to then give them the opportunity. It's no good going and signing there's no point going and signing Santos and Caicedo, loaning them out like 4 times, because in the meantime of you loaning them out, let's say we loan out Santos and Caicedo, by the way, and buy Lavia. What happens when they come back? Then what happens? Because you've got 3 guys. Because if they perform as well, what happens if they've performed? Let's just say hypothetically, right? This is purely hypothetical. Santos goes on loan to Sporting because I know they were interested in him, Sporting Lisbon, and Caicedo goes on loan to, let's just say, West Ham because it got mentioned earlier. Both of them perform. So one has now performed in the I don't know if Sporting in the Champions League actually, but in Europe at a decent level, and one has performed in the Premier League now. And then Lavia plays well next season. What do you do then next season? Do you loan the 2 out again? Like, do you have to question Enzo's position? Because you can't. Look, Enzo's going to play well next season. At least I think he is. Like, you just get to a point where it's like, at what point do you give these guys the chance? Because if you keep taking up their spot with other players, at some point they just turn around and do what De Bruyne did and just go, fuck this. I'm not doing this. And then they go to somewhere else, perform, and then we go, oh, why don't we just give them the chance? Like at some point, you just have to bite the bullet and give them a chance. And there's no better year than this year with the fact we're out of Europe. We have less games. We've got a manager that likes to play the youth, that has developed the youth and has shown that. And in a system where hopefully, from what we've seen so far, looks like it can work well. And they're not exposed that much.
Yeah, I agree. I Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's why I'm thinking it's like, is it going to be?
You have to be smart about this,
especially if Caicedo. If Caicedo signs, is it going to be? Are you going to get another midfielder afterwards? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? You get Kudus in and Olise in and Caicedo in, and you're not going to go. My initial thoughts go. I don't know. Are you going to get another centre back in? Is Chalobah going to go? Are you going to get a goalkeeper in? Because that report came out. Because it's just one of those things. If it becomes January and Nico Jackson isn't firing or is having one of those difficult seasons, do you pull the bullet on going for an Ivan Toney in January or something like that? It's just
true.
Do you know what I mean? It's leaving it back to the midfield, but it's like if Caicedo and Santos are both playing well, you still need to bring in like a Caicedo type player. But then you go, well, we're only playing once a week. You can mix them in and out. They both don't have to be on the bench every game. Do you know what I mean? One can come in one time, one can come in this time.
It also puts into perspective how important January is going to be. Almost as important as this summer window.
It always
the
is
players that we have.
It always is, though.
Yeah,
but like
the January window.
I'm so used to Chelsea just kind of overlooking January windows.
No, but the January
this
window
is the first,
January window will depend on two things for us: injuries and where we are in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're in touching distance to the top 4, top 5, which can get Champions League, and Nico Jackson is doing well, but you feel he might have been overused or even at once a week or something like that. But you just need that extra bit of firepower because like Broja hasn't done anything where you let him go, or John Ivan Toney or something like that. It's a fascinating thing to think about. Or do you go with if Nico Jackson, say Nico Jackson has scored a remarkable, say 15 league goals by himself on his own, you go, we don't actually need Toney, which would sound mad at this point in time. Yeah, so it's one of those to think about. Or do you maybe think Santos and Caicedo are suffering a bit because it's their first full season? Do you then and you bought Caicedo in the summer? Do you go for an even permanent transfer, or do you go for a sneaky loan somewhere of a more experienced player to cover the last half of the season? Because they're only going to be playing once a week as well. So it's one of those.
Just to attach DHL's comment, the thing is though, with these guys, we shouldn't have to rely on them. If we sign Caicedo, right? A lot of this, by the way, is dependent on us signing Caicedo. Because if we go into the season with us having to rely on Santos or Caicedo as the guy next to Enzo, then yes, I have problems because you shouldn't be relying on them like that. But say they're the two backups and we get Caicedo, if we get Caicedo, that midfield trio, if you say Caicedo and Enzo and can go ahead of them, that's enough to compete to getting top 4. I'd argue, by the way, that's better than some of the other big clubs. That's better than Arsenal's midfield as a trio.
I think apart from City's,
apart from City's, and depending on who Liverpool get at that DM, maybe Liverpool's, but again, I need to see that to see how that works. Yeah. Apart from those two, that's better than the other midfields. So then you're saying, right, we haven't got to rely on these guys in terms of on most games. So what we can do is when we play the bigger teams, they only have to come on for 20 minutes, hopefully when we're 2-0 ahead or we're up. Or we can bring them on when we're up against a Brighton or a Luton or not Southampton, they're relegated. Sorry, Bournemouth, etc. You can bring these guys on. You're right, they're not relied upon, so there's no pressure. So they can play how the guys at City play, how a Rico Lewis plays. They can play how a Martinelli played under Arsenal, where there's no real pressure. How Saka came up, where there was no pressure when he first came in, because look at what was happening at the time under Emery. It's these guys can play with freedom. We're seeing that this preseason. These guys are playing with freedom. And yes, there's shaky moments because they're age, but Caicedo, especially in the Brighton game, didn't see him put a foot wrong. It's because there's no pressure.
The only thing I worry about,
by the way, that's what we need to do. This comes down to the fan base. Us as a fan base need to not put pressure on these guys. We need to not expect them to be the second coming of Pirlo and Gilberto Silva. You know, like we have to just let them develop of their own accord. Let them just play as they're going to play. If they make mistakes, they make mistakes. They're young. It's the same thing for Colwell, by the way. I understand me and others have gassed him up, but it's the same thing with Colwell. If he makes a couple of mistakes, let him make a couple of mistakes. Because at the end of the day, in a year or two's time, or maybe even during the season, like he'll iron those mistakes out. And these guys will as well with time. You have to allow them to make the mistakes. You can't just, as soon as they make a mistake, they're not good enough, get down their throats. Because at that point, like, nothing's ever going to be good enough. Unless you get a full 11 of Mbappe level players, nothing will ever be good enough for you.
I think, though, I was worried about the thing about Saturday that worried me, and it wasn't even the two young, was the fact how deep they were to cover Thiago Silva in a back four. That's the only thing I worry about with this midfield, that they'll have to. And that's where I get the sense that's why I kept saying I don't know if Thiago Silva starts every game. I don't think he will. But in the high pressure games, I worry starting any of them two or a two-man midfield with Thiago Silva, because they'd have to drop so deep to cover. And that's with that. So
tonight's game will show us for sure how this midfield reacts.
Right? He's not playing.
No, he's not. But I would like to see if that same dropping the midfield.
Yeah, that was the
down
problem.
To cover is gonna
Brighton were
happen.
running through our midfield quite a lot.
Yeah, and I think Gallagher was to blame for a significant amount of that, because
That's because he looks so. He looks every time he passes, his legs are like he's trying to dig out something. Even like a normal pass, it's like a golf shot in a bunker. Where you're trying to get the ball out. Like you have to
scoop it. He's
so
trying to
weird
scoop it.
Movement.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's really weird. It's like he's like forcing himself to pass the ball. It's like his leg won't move.
Like he's
he's
fucking kicking a free kick every time.
Yeah, like he's like it's digging it, like he's digging out a piece of ice cream or something. You know, it's just he put his spoon in, but it's really hot.
Making me hungry now, man.
Okay, some ice cream for Ahmed's stream, isn't it? So,
there you go. Yeah, I'll do that.
Ice cream stream. That's what I mean.
Oh, my child. Okay, well, that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna go ahead and close it out on that. Appreciate it. It's a good
by the way,
return
can I
from
just
Scott,
point out
Go ahead.
The way the Americans have set the formation on Saturday, they had Colwell playing on the right. So don't
pay too much attention to that.
And Kuka, pivot. He's playing left back. Okay, he's not playing in a pivot. He's playing left back. And Kuku is playing behind Nico Jackson, not the other way around.
Thanks for the clarification.
Although I think Mudryk is playing on the right because Matson's left-footed. So
I'll fucking kill you. Anyways, we'll continue on in a video game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys being here as usual. Make sure you are smashing up that like button, as it does help out with the channel. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. 60% of you guys that do watch the channel have not subscribed yet, which I don't know why. It's free to do, and you're watching the channel anyways. So let's get to 3K. Help us out with that. So I think it's a fair deal. Subscribe, and we'll give you more content. We have another stream tomorrow. We're going to be reacting to the result of this game, so be sure to hit your bell notifications. You don't miss out on that. Then we have the 2K. Sorry, 1K was last year. We have the 2K celebration for this channel. If we hit 2,000 subscribers, thanks to you guys as well. Big up to everyone who helped us get towards that as well. And smash up the like buttons. Like I said, be sure to check out the links in the description. We're going to be raiding Ahmed. So as you guys know, in typical raid fashion, I'm going to go ahead and give you the raid message to use for you to copy and paste as we get there. I'm pretty sure you already started. And also, guys, be sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about everything we discussed in today's show. And last but not least, got to give a shout out to our proper casuals, our members. Shout out to Winter Surfer, OG Turbo Jesus, Dark, Scott, and Adrian. So big up to you guys. I'm actually going to see if I can do the raid message through here because my YouTube is not working.
Oh, Reece James is playing tonight, yeah, as well. What about that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, Reece James is playing. But go ahead, guys. Copy and paste that raid message over to Ahmed's channel. We'll catch you over there momentarily. And as always, have a wonderful night and stay casual. Peace.
Peace.